CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 6 o'clock on this Tuesday, July 28th. A little drizzle could be with us this morning. Still a little fog out there possible, although a little clearer than yesterday, looking at the Harper Cam, at least for downtown Victoria. We'll get you a full forecast in a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Morning, BC wildfire update. 139 fires burning, 51 considered burning out of control, 16 new starts in this province in the last 24 hours. And the 4 fires that have been burning on Vancouver Island are either the status of being held or under control. On the mainland, the mayor of Clinton, which is under duress for fire, says a crew will assess the fire-ravaged village and people will know whose property suffered damage and they will be contacted personally. Roland Stanky says the crew was in town yesterday and hopes people will find out about any damage from the assessors, relying instead, rather than on misinformation posted on Facebook, which he says is plentiful. Stanky says smoldering embers are rampant throughout the village and causes more blaze through flare-ups. He says a bypass has been opened to allow untreated water to be used to fight the fires, but those who have defied an evacuation order now will have to boil their water moving forward. Nanaimo RCMP investigating a suspicious fire that started in Bowen Park on the weekend. Police say someone set fire to 2 large trees along a pedestrian walking path near the Riverside Drive entrance to the park. Firefighters responded quickly. They were able to extinguish the flames before anything spread. Officers say the trees, unfortunately, were badly damaged and also detected a strong chemical odor at the scene. Maybe, possibly propellant. Anyone who saw suspicious activity near the Bowen Park pedestrian path Sunday morning is asked to contact the Nanaimo RCMP non-emergency line. In Europe, Spain, France, thousands of people have fled their homes as wildfires continue to ravage large swaths of land. ABC's foreign correspondent Marcus Moore is in Madrid, Spain.
This is really an unprecedented moment for people here in Spain. Officials saying the Avila fire, which has been burning west of Madrid, is the largest fire ever recorded here in the country. We're talking about more than 135,000 acres have burned at the start of this week.
There are some reports the federal government is nearing a deal that would see news return to Meta's social media platforms. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more on this and how it's intertwined with the ongoing trade talks between our country and the U.S.
The reality is we're not willing to do it for free.
Meta has blocked news on Instagram and Facebook since 2023 when the Online News Act called for tech giants to pay Canadian producers. It did not respond to multiple requests for comment about what's on the table. Last year, Ottawa dropped the digital services tax because it angered Donald Trump. Miller was asked if there were any plans to repeal this Online News Act.
No plans.
In Alberta, starting Friday, Albertans will be able to pay out of pocket for bypassing medical referral for diagnostic screening tests, similar to ultrasound or MRI. The announcement from the Premier, Danielle Smith, follows up on legislation passed by her United Conservative government this spring. Patients will pay for tests when they receive them and potentially be reimbursed if the results lead to a cancer diagnosis. Providers can still decide whether to offer the service and will also have the power to decide whether to modify the test or not. A newly released study today by the Fraser Institute finds the average Canadian family of 4 is going to pay an estimated $21,000 plus for public health care insurance this year alone. The study estimates a typical Canadian family consisting of 2 parents, 2 kids with an average household income of almost $203,000 will pay $21,115 for public health care. Couples without dependent children will pay an estimated nearly $20,000, and single Canadians over $6,400. Most Canadians are unaware of the true cost of health care because they see a bill for medical services, but they may only be aware of the partial cost collected via employer health taxes and contributions. In fact, the cost of public health care insurance for the average Canadian family is increased 2.3 times faster than the cost of food and 1.5 times faster than the cost of housing. And Walmart has lost its title it held for 12 consecutive years. ABC's Jim Ryan tells us it's no longer the largest company in the world.
At least not according to the Fortune Global 500 ranking released this morning. Amazon is number one this year, with revenue surging 12% and surpassing $700 billion. Behind the online retailer is former number one Walmart, followed by China's State Grid, United Healthcare Group, and Saudi Aramco. Apple comes in as the world's sixth largest company by revenue.
And that's your news to 6:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, are you pre-registered with BC's Emergency Support Services, a move that will fast-track support for you during an evacuation? 95% say no. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:06.
Thank you, Lisa. Got a text message here at 7:10:10, just saying that the sky's looking really nice right now.
No smoke.
Good morning. Wow, the sky looks like a painting, says the texter.
It's quite beautiful.
Yeah, that's the kind of morning we're getting into. We can see the sky, unlike yesterday when the fog was blotting everything out. So even though we got a bit of fog in the forecast and a chance of showers, it should be clearing up as the day goes on. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, over to the sports. Lots going on. I want to start by giving a big round of applause to Nanaimo's Ethan Katzberg, the hammer thrower guy. Remember him from the Olympics and all that? Anyways, he is competing at the Commonwealth Games going on in Glasgow, and he just won the men's hammer throw gold medal, setting a new games record while doing it at 80.97 meters on his very first attempt. The 24-year-old from Nanaimo upgraded to gold after winning the silver medal at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. By the way, Canada has 21 medals in total, including 7 gold, 8 bronze. Australia leads the medal standings with 59, including 26 gold. England is second with 32 medals, including 8 gold. So that's the Commonwealth Games. What else is going on in baseball? Harper Cats had a day off yesterday. They return home to Wilson's Group Stadium today to open up a 3-game series against the Port Angeles lefties. Port Angeles is at the bottom of the division, so it might be a chance for Victoria to pick up a couple of wins and maybe boost its position in the standings. In the majors, Blue Jays beat the Washington Nationals 3-2 last night as the clock ticks down on the MLB trade deadline. Max Scherzer made his return from injury last night, facing his former team on what was his 42nd birthday. And while they allowed only 1 run, Scherzer didn't make it through the third inning.
For me, this is health. I feel good, feel great. It was just great to be back out there competing, so just make sure I can recover and get back out there. It's good. It's special. Got a lot of great memories here in D.C., so the fans, wanted to show them respect as well.
The Jays have won 3 of their last 5 games, but still remain well back of a playoff spot and in last place of their division. Now over to the BC Lions. They've added a defensive talent to their struggling squad. Lorenzo Molden IV, who was the CFL's top defensive player in 2022 when he posted a league-leading 17 sacks, signed with the 1-5 Leos yesterday. The 6'4", 257-pound Molden ended last season with the Calgary Stampeders, who acquired him from the Ottawa Red Blacks. The last-placed Lions visit the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this Thursday. That's your sports at 6:09. CFAX 1070 Morning Show here, brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Until August 5th, get 600 Scene Plus points when you buy any participating cheeses and meats to build your own summer snacking bundle at Thrifty Foods. Over to traffic and weather. What's going on? Well, if you are in downtown Victoria or along the Esquimalt Harbor or some of those places that were really socked in with fog yesterday, we're not really seeing that so much today, even though it was kind of in the forecast as a possible foggy morning. We might be seeing some of it here and there, but a lot clearer than it was. No crashes, no major congestion either. It's a fairly smooth start to the day. You can text me if you see otherwise for the BC Ferry situation. 7 o'clock sailing is next from Sports Bay to Swanson. It's about half full, lots of space left. In the weather, beyond the morning chance of showers and fog, we are going to see the skies clear up a little bit today. It might not get overly sunny, but we will at least clear through the chance of showers. Highs will hit about 21 degrees. A few clouds overnight, lows down to 13. And then tomorrow we do start to see a peek at the sun. Highs of 21. Thursday, sunny. Highs of 21. Friday, sunny. Highs of 23. Yesterday, it looked like the sun carried on through the weekend, but now the forecasters are making a revision and thinking that rain might actually arrive on Saturday. So could get wet just in time for the weekend, but we'll watch and see how that shapes up. But Lisa's giving me the thumbs down. I mean, it could have rained on Thursday, could have rained on Friday.
It all of its system during the week, but no.
Of all the days, it had to pick Saturday.
Gotta hold out for the weekend. Stop it.
Always the way. Always the way. What's the temperature? What's going on? It's 13 degrees. Opening bells for North American stock markets will be ringing later this hour, so let's take a look at how things closed off yesterday with Aaron Sousa.
Canada's main stock index gained yesterday. Toronto's S&P TSX added 199 points to 35,568. In New York, the Dow rose 262, while the Nasdaq slipped 43. Asian markets this morning were mixed, with Tokyo's Nikkei down 2,500 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong, meanwhile, was up 103. Our dollar is trading at 70 and 84 cents U.S. We are days away from a possible strike by WestJet flight attendants. Their union saying it could be as early as Sunday if they can't reach a new deal. Toronto's mayor wants her city's island lands back. Olivia Chow wants Ontario to repeal Bill 110 after it expropriated parts of the Toronto Islands to expand Billy Bishop Airport. Ottawa rejected the expansion last week, and fans of KFC rejoice. An American auction house will sell off Colonel Harlan Sanders' personal items today. Items include pressure cookers, his iconic bow tie and suspenders, and a planner said to hold his secret 11 herbs and spices. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Did you just hear that?
What did I just hear?
They're selling off the Colonel's secrets.
They are?
KFC is selling all his personal items.
Huh.
I don't know if that's bragging rights or kind of horrific or column A, column B.
Yeah, that's almost like the Hudson's Bay Company having to sell all of those Canadian historical treasures that they contained when the company got broken up.
Yeah, I mean, they're over 399 years old before its demise. I'm not sure about KFC, but the Colonel's been around for a while. I mean, people dress up as him for Halloween. Strange. The things, because we just had Luke Skywalker's saber, a lightsaber sell with the hand.
Oh,
with the hand that his father, Luke, I'm your father, cut off for what, $1.5 million or something it sold for?
So what's the Colonel's, I don't know, bow tie going to go for? String tie, whatever he wore?
Yeah.
Whatever that was?
I think they kind of dipped him in the flour before they actually put him on display. He was all white, right? Everything was white except for that bow tie.
Buy his white coat and see if in the pocket, maybe there's a list of secret herbs and spices.
Well, they said they were going to pass part with that too, but I don't believe it. Because that's the whole point of the business, right?
Okay.
When's the last time you've eaten KFC?
You know what's funny is fried chicken is such a huge thing right now. Like,
it's the KFC, the Korean fried chicken, which like 649 here or Thunderbird here. That's phenomenal chicken.
Well, and the thing is because of that, there's just like a million different options. Like, I actually haven't eaten at a KFC in forever. I've eaten fried chicken lots, but there's just so many different places to go.
Which are better, I think. We do it better here on the island.
I agree. Speaking of that, this is perfect. I've been spending some of my morning reading up on a few downtown Victoria restaurant and business gossip changes that are coming.
Okay.
There's a couple of spots that I was curious about. There's a spot coming in to downtown Victoria. Maybe you'll be curious to hear about. There's another spot that is selling, but hopefully sticking around.
Oh, yeah.
That's very well known. So I've got a little bit of restaurant gossip that has nothing to do with fried chicken, I don't think.
Food for thought, as it were.
Yeah. So I want to share some stories with you in a minute, if you don't mind.
We like stories.
Okay, well, let's do that after we get the headlines. And now over to Lisa.
Yeah, a new poll finds Canadians, 46% of respondents anyways, encounter scams or fraud attempts weekly, possibly even daily, commissioned by TD, conducted by Leger. The poll found more than half of respondents asked reported behaviors that could make them more vulnerable, not realizing, such as using public Wi-Fi to access personal financial accounts, that's a no-no, and opening email attachments from unknown senders, again, something you don't want to do. Yet almost 90% say they feel confident in their ability to spot fraud. A bank's vice president in fraud management said overconfidence with consumers can quickly lead to decisions or overlooked warning signs that scammers will exploit. New details on the rebuilding of Victoria's Stadacona Park playground, which was destroyed by arson on March 31st, unfortunately. The City of Victoria says rebuilding it will cost about $350,000, with just over 11,000 of that chunk coming from community-led fundraising campaigns. The city is expected to complete the work this fall. Earthquake 7.1 has shaken Kumamoto on Japan's Kyushu Island. The Japan Meteorological Agency says a tsunami alert could be in place, but it was lifted. Prime Minister of the country has urged residents to avoid the coastline and announced a government task force to assess damage and prepare for rescue operations. Authorities are also warning of possible strong aftershocks on the island nation. That is your headline news to 6:17.
We've got another thing to say. Before I get to restaurant gossip, I want to say that on the text machine at 71010, as soon as we hit the air, Lisa, people just started texting me numbers.
6-7?
Yeah. The reason why is because we are your only Victoria radio station doing a meat draw right now. You won't find this anywhere else.
No, we're quite unique with this.
For Glenwood Meats, we got a meat draw going on, but we're doing it specifically at 8:10 every morning this week. And here's how it's going to work. Closer to, I've got the proverbial little bucket of balls that'll spit out a number.
Sweet.
And then once I get the number, I'll open up the text machine for you to text in a number. And if you get the right one, the first person to text the correct number between 1 and 100 will get the $100 to Glenwood Meats. But don't text me the number yet because I haven't pulled the ball out of the machine yet. So I don't know.
It's all very technical.
I don't know if your number's correct.
We won't know until that time.
But I love that you're participating already. Thank you so much. But the Glenwood Meats meat draw is at 8:10 this morning, and we'll open up the text machine a few moments before that.
Someone asked if you could text in more than once.
Well, yeah, but it's the first person to get the number right.
Correct. But don't text us one between 100. Like 100 times, we won't be happy with you.
Yeah. You don't send us 100 texts of all the numbers. Oh, man. Anyways, okay, so we'll get to that a little later in the show.
Okay, nice.
And people are still texting me numbers. This person did it with a smiley face, so I think they did that on purpose.
That gets points.
Yeah.
It gets our attention.
A couple of cool restaurant stories for Victoria to tell you about in just a moment after traffic and weather. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It is going to be a day that is threatening fog and rain, but I think that's mostly clearing, and we should be getting into a day that's more on the cloudy side today. Maybe even a few sunny breaks, but a mostly overcast day, highs of 21. But it looks like our chance of showers is starting to fade. Might still stick around, at least for the morning hours. A few clouds tonight, lows down to 13. A few bits of sunshine peeking through the clouds tomorrow on Wednesday, highs of 21. Thursday, Friday looking sunny, but now it's maybe rainy on Saturday. Originally, we were hoping it would stay sunny into the weekend, but forecasters are changing their tune, and it looks like periods of rain could be with us on Saturday. We'll see how that shapes up as we get closer to it. For the roads themselves, nothing going on. It's clear at the moment. If you see anything, let me know at 71010. If you see a crash, accident, or maybe there's a big construction problem that I'm not mentioning that's ruining your day, I'd love to hear about it at 71010.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
It's time for some restaurant gossip. I love restaurant gossip.
I do too, because it's food for thought.
Yeah.
Right? Yes.
That's even better. I like that. I got a couple of stories that I was reading this morning I wanted to share with everybody.
Okay.
One of them involves a Victoria institution that is selling. Do you know the Italian Deli on Blanchard?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the spot?
I do.
Okay, so that's been going in Victoria, family-run operation since the 80s.
Yeah.
And they posted on their Instagram that they are selling. And I want to read you their Instagram post.
Okay.
This is from a couple of days ago. I just noticed it recently. So it says, our family started the Italian Deli in 1985 as a way to bring a piece of Italy to Victoria. Throughout the years, we have had the privilege to share our lives with you and vice versa. There are not enough words to express our gratitude to you all. We have been so fortunate to for the support you have shown us and for the friendship we have formed. We will miss you, and we will always have a place, or you will always have a place in our hearts. Next week will be our last week at the deli, and we would love for you to stop by and say hello and goodbye. And that's from the family that runs it. Now, everybody, of course, is like, well, what's going to happen to the place if you sell it? They have sold it, they say, to a couple of ladies.
Okay.
And that it should carry on from there, just under new owners.
Okay.
So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not the end of the Italian Deli. It will live on.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's ending. It's just new ownership. I know people have lives, right? People want to retire. Having a business is more than a full-time job.
Now, 2 radio station locations ago, so when CFAX 1070 used to broadcast on Broughton Street, and I'm going back a little bit.
Okay.
Here we are in Esquimalt now, then we're on Broad Street downtown, but when we used to be on Broughton Street, that's where I joined the station.
Okay.
It was literally around the corner from this place. So this was a common lunch haunt. You'd walk around the corner, you'd get way too much pasta and be filled for the rest of the day.
That was your game plan?
You'd add the meatball.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta
Just
add
one
the
big
meatball.
one?
Or I think
That's
you can sort of
traditional.
pick. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, it was it was always one of those places that not just I enjoyed eating at, but I think it had that vibe because it was the family. You felt like, the owners are here, they're the ones running it, you're talking to them. I enjoy business like that, where it really feels like there's somebody's...
You feel like you're going to family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I can see why people are quite interested in hearing that the Italian Deli is selling. They're still there at the moment. They said for a week they're hanging around, but then new owners will take over. So that's my first story.
Kind of sad that they're selling, but at the same time, we're happy they're staying open, too.
They've been going since 1985, so I guess I could see why.
You need a break.
I can see why. The other business gossip that I have for downtown Victoria is actually a store that's coming in.
Okay.
It's originally from Vancouver, and it will be opening up on View Street next to where the McDonald's is at View and Douglas, but further down towards Broad. So imagine View and Broad Street, sort of that section.
In that section that there's nothing right now.
Yeah, I think there used to be an art gallery or
Yes,
something
there
in that
was.
section, and it's been empty.
The whole section, yeah.
It's going to be a Lee's Donuts, which is, if you know Granville Island in Vancouver, this started there in the 70s or something like that. It's been going, anyways, it's famous donuts from Vancouver, Granville Island area. They are bringing their very first Vancouver Island operation to Victoria. They're going to open up a franchise there. So that was my other bit of restaurant gossip.
So there's no parking, really great parking in that area. So what you can do is get your donut, walk around, and it's negative calories.
Yeah, there you go. See, you gotta
That's the
balance
upside.
the donut.
I like that. I like that. So, okay. So have you had these donuts before?
That's the thing. I was reading about this, and everybody's going crazy. There's a lot of online discussion about these donuts, and people excited about it coming. But I've never even had it. I hadn't even really heard about it. But I guess if you're in Vancouver,
that's the spot to go.
This was a big thing for Vancouverites
that's
to
really
eat their
great
donuts.
that we're getting one.
Yeah.
And right downtown, because obviously you get the tourist attention too, which helps.
Oh, yeah.
Money coming in for so that's nice because that section between the corner and the McDonald's has been empty for a while.
And it's that's the other part that I like. I mean, the fact that this historic donut chain from Vancouver's coming in is cool, but also just the fact that we've got a storefront filling.
Yeah.
I love the idea that some of these empty spots that have been sort of showing up in downtown Victoria might be coming back.
Oh, it would be great because, the city can put up, displays and murals and stuff, but it doesn't hide the fact that it's a building, and buildings don't do well when they're empty. They don't. It's a strange phenomena, but it's true. They just don't do well empty. Buildings need people inside. They need activity inside in order for them to thrive too. I'm making it a person, I know, but work with me here. And for us, it is sad to see that so many downtown spaces are empty when it should be thriving. So it's a start, and we'll take it. We'll bring on the donuts.
All right, Lee's Donuts coming to the area around View Street and Broad, and the Italian Deli on Blanchard is selling, but they say, rest assured, I'm doing a quote now from their Instagram, rest assured the deli will live on through the new owners.
Nice. Look forward to meeting them.
Okay. What else is going on in the world? Well, Lisa's got your news to 6:30 coming up in just a moment. We got your sports and weather too. And if you have any traffic tips, pass them on at 7:10:10 because we'll be keeping everybody up to date on what's going on the roads. It's all next.
CFAX, Santa's Anonymous.
Hey, grown-ups, the ones still kids at heart.
Through the Kids Count Children's Grant Program powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous, local kids are getting help with summer camp fees, food security, and mental wellness support.
Where do you see kids needing the most support?
Access to healthy, fresh food through the summer.
Visit CFAXSantas.com right now and give directly to the cause that matters most to you.
Kids Count.
Powered by CFAX Santa's Anonymous.
To find out how you can help, visit CFAXSantas.com. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 6:30 on Tuesday, July 28th. We do have a chance of showers and possible fog along the coast, although we're a bit clearer than we were yesterday. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Starting in the wildfire front, a councillor for the village of Clinton, BC, says sad stories are emerging from the area where homes and other structures have been destroyed by the wildfires surrounding it. While the village itself was mostly spared, Nicholas Kozovic says properties have been lost south of Clinton, where the fire was encroaching. That includes Steve's Towing and Auto Body, whose owner, Steve Larrabee, says that his family lost everything in the blaze the night before, including their 2 homes and his business on the property.
I noticed that the fire was coming over the hill, and we started to get our stuff out. And there was 4 hours that the government had time to help us. There's 4 hours. You know, how hard is it to get a water bomber? How hard is it to get a plane?
The BC Wildfire Service map shows there are 137 fires active in this province, and there's currently 51 of them out of control. It's actually 139 right now, 16 new starts in the last 24 hours. The 4 fires burning on Vancouver Island are either in the status of being held or considered under control. A new study on the planet-warming emissions released during Canada's record 2023 wildfire season suggests the majority came not from trees, but from soil and peat. The study estimates for the first time about 3/4 of those emissions came from burning below ground. Alamu Gonsama is the author of the study led by McMaster University researchers in Hamilton.
We wanted to know how much of the big emission from 2023 is originating from live trees and pits and soil.
The data comes as Ontario battles historic fire season 2, with some blazes edging into the carbon-rich Hudson Bay lowlands, the second largest peak complex in the world. In health news, recent data shows some psych patients waited days in the ER just to get admitted to hospital.
Mental health experts say psych patients wait far longer for an inpatient bed than other people do. They say the ER and its turbulent bustle, noise, and lights that never dim can be harmful to a person in a mental health crisis. Alberta Psychiatric Association President Dr. Karen Duncalf says it's tough to name just one reason why psych patients wait such a long time for a bed.
You know, that chaotic, noisy environment, it's not therapeutic, has a real meaningful impact on our patients as they wait.
She says all of the contributing factors, including bed capacity issues, underfunding, and a lack of community supports, need to be addressed at the same time. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
Starting this week, Albertans will have a 2-tier system. They'll be able to pay out of pocket to bypass medical referral for diagnostic screening tests such as an MRI or ultrasound. The announcement came from the Premier yesterday, following up on legislation passed by her United Conservative government this spring. Danielle Smith says the new program is a complement to Alberta's public health care system, not a replacement for it.
What we're announcing today is intended to further our overall cancer strategy, expand Albertans' preventative health care choices, and to help support the public system. Early detection means better outcomes and healthier people, and it means more confidence and timelier answers for Albertans and their families when it matters most.
Critics and public health care advocates have said that the plan risks dragging the province further into that 2-tiered system, siphoning critical staff from public hospitals and exacerbating lengthy wait times in the public system. Public Safety Minister Gary Anandasangari says that the spying allegations brought against a Canadian national in Europe are serious, and he's committed to getting to the bottom of it. The Belgium Federal Prosecutor's Office says a Canadian national of Chinese origin has been arrested on charges of espionage and participation in a criminal organization. Anandasangari was asked about the issue yesterday at an unrelated event here on the West Coast.
What I don't want to do is speculate on this specific case. I do acknowledge that there was a recent arrest in Belgium involving an intern with NATO who was a Canadian national.
The prosecutor's office said the suspect came to the attention of Shapes Security Services, who reported the matter to Belgium's military intelligence agency. And that commemorative jersey you picked up at the World Cup game, it came from a licensed company, but it may not be the real deal. ABC's Jim Ryan says the chances of it being fake are surprisingly strong.
With the championship series in the rearview mirror, Customs and Border Protection has finished tallying up the counterfeit FIFA-related merchandise seized before, during, and after the North American matches. Customs agents intercepted 445,000 items, from soccer balls to umbrellas. The most commonly counterfeited item, according to CBP, Lionel Messi's number 10 Argentina jersey.
Not surprising at all, and people probably paid a pretty penny for that, too. That's your news to 6:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking, are you pre-registered with BC's emergency support services? That's ess.gov.bc.ca online. It's a move that will fast-track support for you if things go sideways during an evacuation. 95% actually not registered with this yet. You might want to check it out. You can vote now at cfax1070.com. Also, the iHeartRadio app available to you. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:37.
Thank you, Lisa. Just before the news, we were talking about how this donut chain called Lee's Donuts, originally from Granville Island area in Vancouver, opening up a spot on View Street in downtown Victoria. Texter at 71010 says, Lee's Donuts, oh my God, so much for my weight loss now.
Okay, they're good then. There's a vote.
There's a vote in favor of this. This is good to know. Okay. I said, I've never tried one, so I don't really know how to gauge this. But
I know my brother-in-law will be there in line.
Is he a donut guy?
Huge.
Yeah.
He's a massive fan of donuts.
So as I've been reading into this, I guess one of the things people like about it is they're very kind of classic, just basic donuts, handmade kind of like stuff. It's not.
That sounds good, actually.
Yeah.
When you start messing with a donut, things start to go sideways.
Yeah, just keep the classic thing going.
Exactly.
Well, we've got a chance of showers this morning, but not much has materialized, at least not at the moment. There is a potential for some fog this morning, but it's not nearly as thick as yesterday. We'll tell you about the full forecast in a moment. Right now, over to the CFAX 1070 Sports. We'll start in baseball. The visiting Toronto Blue Jays will be looking to win 2 in a row tonight when they face the Washington Nationals in the second set of their 3-game series. The Jays won last night's opener 3-2. Right-hander Shea Bieber will start on the hill for the 49 and 58 Jays. The Jays have won 4 of their last 11 games since the All-Star break. Local baseball, the Victoria Harbour Cats had a day off yesterday, but they're back at it today at Wilson's Group Stadium at Royal Athletic Park, opening up a 3-game series against the Port Angeles Lefties. For the Commonwealth Games, big win for Nanaimo's Ethan Katzberg, who won the men's hammer throw gold medal at the Commonwealth Games going on in Glasgow. He set a new games record with 80.97 meters on his very first attempt. He got silver in the 2022 Commonwealth Games, so he's upgraded to gold in this one. The BC Lions have added a defensive talent to their struggling squad, Lorenzo Molden IV, who was the CFL's top defensive player back in 2022 when he posted a league-leading 17 sacks. He signed with the 1-5 Leos yesterday. He's 6'4", 257 pounds, ended last season in Calgary, and he was acquired from the Ottawa Red Blacks by the BC Lions just now. The last place Lions visit the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on Thursday. That's your sports to 6:39. Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. Well, still no major congestion on the roads. The West Shore commute into Victoria is starting to shape up. We're starting to see some folks on the road. It's just not too slow as of yet. Let us know if things change at 7:10:10. No crashes or other problems. For the BC ferries, lots of room left on the 7 o'clock from Swartz Bay to Sawasan. That is your next boat out. And for the weather, well, we're going to be clearing a little bit as we get further into this day. Highs will hit 21 degrees, but yeah, still a small chance of showers kind of hanging over us for the rest of the morning. It's been fairly uneventful at the moment. A few clouds tonight, lows down to 13. A mix of sun and cloud tomorrow, highs of 21. Sunshine for Thursday and Friday with temperatures into the low 20s. But now forecasters are taking a look at what's coming at us, and it looks like maybe we're going to get some rain on Saturday. Originally, we were thinking it was going to be dry throughout the weekend. But hey, you know what? More rain, maybe keep those wildfires away. How's that? Silver linings everywhere. On the markets, the North American stock markets are just opening up. I've got no numbers as of yet, so let's tell you how yesterday opened. The S&P, or I should say closed. The S&P TSX closed up 199 to 35,568. The Dow is up 262 to 52,210, and the Canadian dollar at 70.9 cents US. It's basically where it started the day. It didn't really move anywhere. And the barrel of oil was at the $81.23 US mark in overseas trading today, so still sliding.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
People are talking donuts now. I love this.
It's one thing we can control in life.
Texter at 71010 says, in the Lower Mainland, they used to have Nuffy's donuts.
Oh.
They had one called the Chocolate Angel, and it was like a jelly donut, but instead of jelly inside, it was filled with chocolate whipped cream, and it was so good. I've never heard of a Nuffy's donuts either.
Can't get enough of Nuffies?
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe where it came from. You mentioned about gas prices, oil prices a moment ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
The gas prices are still high.
I'm just looking at this going, it's not making a dent at the pumps yet. We'll wait. We're waiting.
We're waiting.
Back
if you
to the
see
donuts.
We actually like it when you let us know if the gas prices move. So if you see anything going up or down, text us at 71010.
Costco's $1.85 right now, and everything's up from that. But it's all around $2 for a regular or more.
Yeah, text us about gas. Text us about donuts.
Right.
This texter was mad at me for not jumping on your food for thought name.
In your defense, you just came back from a European vacation. The synapses are not firing. Your synapses. What time of the day do your synapses actually fire? Remember, you woke up.
Oh, yeah. No, I was on my first night back. I went to bed at 9, so tired. And then I woke up at 11 p.m. and was like, what? No, it's not morning yet.
Right.
But anyways.
Totally messed up.
So I'm slowly coming back online. But no, a texture, I'm totally with you. I think next time I do food gossip segments, from now on, they will be called Food for Thought. 100%.
That's heard. Have you been to Otto yet? Anybody been to Otto?
What's Otto?
It's a new place. I got to find out about it.
What do you mean?
It's a new restaurant.
Where?
Called, I don't know. I think Dallas brought it up, and I haven't done the research on it, but I'm hearing buzz.
Okay.
About Otto. There's good deli sandwiches and stuff, apparently.
Okay.
This is off the cuff, but Otto it's a word out there on the streets, and it's apparently a really good thing.
Man, I've got so much. I'm just Googling now. Is it Otto Charcuterie, that one?
That's it.
Yeah, okay. On Fort Street, they say.
Good things.
Well, I've got to go check that out now.
That's all
I didn't know that was a thing. I go away for 2 weeks.
Because, right, well, a new restaurant opens.
Yeah.
Bing. There's lots happening.
All right. Well, let's get the news in. At 6:45. What else is going on, Lisa?
The spate of crazy drivers on the mainland continues. BC Highway Patrol curbing a driver who decided to turn his test ride from a dealership into a joyride. This happened 10 days ago on the mainland. A 30-year-old Vancouver man had his prospective purchase impounded just east of Merritt, more than 300 kilometers away from the dealership where he started. Now, he did tell police that they were on an overnight test drive from Vancouver to Kelowna. However, the driver was doing 172 in a 110 zone when they clocked him. It was a gray Toyota sedan, so clocked for excessive speed. Sergeant Michael McLaughlin said that the vehicle successfully demonstrated that, yes, it could speed for him, and it also fits in the back of a tow truck. No word on whether the driver actually decided to buy the car after that, since he's got a few other things to pay for. Recently released diary entries from former Chief White House medical advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci is providing new insights on his thoughts during the pandemic. According to the personal accounts released by Senator Rand Paul, Fauci was aware of the media's interest in him and even called it flattering in a May 2020 entry. However, after that, it appears the attention he received made the White House very upset due to the notion that he was becoming a star, outshining the U.S. president. By December of 22, his popularity took a negative turn. His final entry read in part, "It's clear I have not been reporting every day, and that the far extreme right that literally hates me." And a new study shows eating an avocado every day reduces your risk of heart disease, at least in obese adults. The finding out of Penn State University finds eating avocados regularly is a lower density lipoprotein particles, those proteins that transport bad cholesterol in the blood. Authors of the study suggest the reduction translates into a roughly 4% drop in heart disease risk among those who are obese. That's your news to 646.
Yeah, texters are jumping on this Otto's sandwiches thing.
Mm-hmm.
A texter just saying, yeah, Otto, it's at 1019 Fort Street, and they sell sandwiches.
Yeah.
And I was looking it up, and yeah, they just opened, I guess, late June, early July, so
Right.
fairly recently. And there's another place. It's on Fort Street. A lot of new restaurants.
Good.
And we were kind of talking about that earlier in the show. We mentioned there's this new donut shop coming. There's the Italian deli sold, but there's some new owners coming in.
Right.
And now there's this place. I'm sure there's a bunch of others, but it's just neat to see some new stuff coming into
fresh
Victoria.
blood on the streets when it
Yeah.
comes to capitalism and having new restaurants, a new business. Absolutely bring it on.
There you go. Thank you much for the food for thought discussion. Moving on to a different kind of gossip. Have you heard about this show that is starting to get teased? It's a thriller, and it was shot here in Victoria, parts of Vancouver Island. What was it called again?
It's a thriller series.
What's the name of it? Yaga? Is that it? Yaga.
Yaga.
Anyways, Yaga is this new thriller that apparently showcases a lot of Victoria. Apparently you see like the Kiwanis Tea Room at Willows Beach.
Excellent.
Like that kind of stuff. So
Love
it really
that.
looks like there's like a Walmart parking lot in Langford.
That works.
There's all these kind of things. So we're going to reach out to Richard Krause. He's a CTV News film critic, and he is going to be joining us in just a moment about this latest show. What is Yaga? It's set to premiere as an 8-episode series on Crave in October. The teasers are coming out. We'll find out more next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Celebrate our coast at Cadbro Bay Festival, Sunday, August 9th from 11 to 3 p.m. Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather at 6:50, and the roads are still looking pretty smooth right now. No major delays or crashes for Greater Victoria streets. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. No sailing waits at BC Ferries, and the weather, while it's still the fog and the chance of showers are in the forecast, but it hasn't been very eventful yet this morning, and we do expect it to continue to clear as the day goes on. We'll have a high of about 21 degrees. Right now, we're sitting at 14 for most of Greater Victoria.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, I love his show right here on CFAX 1070 Saturday evenings. You can hear Richard Krause talk about pop culture, movies, and all kinds of stuff. And he's joining us here to talk about, well, a TV show filmed around Victoria that is going to be hitting Crave shortly. Richard Krause is here. Richard, how you doing?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Great to get you here. Yeah, a lot of people have been buzzing around Victoria because the teaser trailer for this thriller series is coming out. Yaga is the name of this thing. What do you know about the show?
Well, it is going to be on Crave in October, so we've got another, couple of months before we'll be able to see this. But it's a supernatural mystery theater that reimagines the Baba Yaga myth. Carrie-Anne Moss, we all remember her from The Matrix and many other things, is the above-the-title star. Noah Reed's in here. People remember him from Schitt's Creek, and a great cast. And it was filmed across Victoria. And I love how sort of in my research here, I found it was filmed at the Kiwanis Tea Room in Oak Bay, among many other places. So I don't think that it uses Victoria as Victoria, but I think that you will see and recognize various locations all the way through.
That's really cool. I think that we see Victoria show up in a lot of things, but sometimes it's harder to tell. But I think the Kiwanis Tea Room is one of those locations. Everybody goes to Willows Beach at some point in their life. You know the tea room, so I think that'll really be identifiable.
Yeah, and I think that if you look back, even when things aren't particularly specifically shot in Victoria or set in Victoria, you'll recognize Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters in the X-Men franchise. That is Hatley Castle. You've got The Changeling, which was a Disney descendant film. That was shot there. Little Women, Bird on a Wire, the 2000 Scary Movie shot at Victoria High School and lots of other places there. If you're looking for something that actually uses Victoria as Victoria, there's Private Eyes West Coast, which is on Global, and it's a spinoff of the original Private Eyes series that stars Jason Priestley. He's a private investigator, and it's set in Victoria, and it's been shooting about the last year, as far as I can tell here. So you may have seen Jason Priestley on the streets of Victoria over the last year or so.
That's cool.
Richard, it's always nice to see your community on a screen, whether it's a big screen or the TV screen, because it gives you a new perspective. It's like looking in the mirror and seeing a different angle. And it's a sense of pride that comes with that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, certainly, I'm talking to you from Toronto, and I was watching a movie the other night, and I thought, wow, it was set in New York City, but I thought, that looks very familiar. It turns out it was shot just a block up from where I live, and the grocery store that I go to almost every day was featured very heavily, which is why it looked very familiar to me. But you're right. When you see your town or city reflected on the big screen, it's kind of cool. And one of the things that I always do whenever I see Toronto referenced in a movie is try and do the movie geography. When you have someone walking down a street and then they turn a corner, and in your head that street that they've turned onto is 7 kilometers away,
yeah.
You think to yourself, hey, that's a cheat, but no one who doesn't know the geography of the area would ever recognize that.
Well, you mentioned one of Victoria's most famous, movie scenes is probably, you mentioned Bird on a Wire with Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn back in the 80s, and they do a motorcycle chase down Fantan Alley. And, locals know Fantan Alley is only so long. And then this motorcycle chase just keeps going and going.
It's true.
And you're like, well, shouldn't they have gotten out of Fantan Alley by now? But, same kind of idea.
And my experience in Fantan Alley, when I live there, and certainly when I go back to visit, I always take a walk down. It's really narrow, too. So it's kind of an unusual place to do a motorcycle chase.
Actually, can I tell you one more story about that movie? So
Sure.
It's gone now, but for the longest time, there was a barber shop in Fantan Alley, and I went to get my haircut there quite often when it was still there. And they had a VHS copy of Bird on a Wire sort of up on a pedestal like it was some sort of shrine, and the owner would show everybody who came by the door that was damaged by Mel Gibson when he crashed his motorcycle into the door frame, and he never fixed it. This was also just something special to him. This is where Mel Gibson crashed his motorcycle into my doorway.
I love that so much. There was a place in Toronto called the Cabana Room, and a movie called The Last Detail was shot one scene, and there was Jack Nicholson, Randy Quaid, and a number of other kind of names that you would recognize. But Nicholson goes into the bar, and he takes his gun, and he bangs it on the bar, and he left 4 or 5 big dings in the bar. And for years, there was kind of a spot of, it was an exalted spot to sit at the bar where Jack Nicholson had sat and banged up the bar. So it's gone now, but it was an interesting bit of film history.
So we're not, New York, we're not Toronto, we're not Los Angeles, but is Vancouver Island, Greater Victoria as a whole getting its due when it comes to being featured in films?
Well, I think, I think so. It's because, I've been there I used to live there, and I've been there many, many times since then. And I think the thing that really recommends Victoria is that, A, it's a beautiful city. It's got great historical sites. The Parliament buildings and all that sort of thing. There's great coastal scenery. There is, Vancouver Island South Film and Media Commission. There's, of course, so much film production done in Vancouver, which can spill over, and you've got a huge film community there. So all those things recommend shooting in Victoria, and the weather is great. And you've got, you get very little snow. You can shoot year round. There's all sorts of things that recommend it there. But I would say that it's a versatile place. You've got, you can do cityscapes there, and, by driving just, minutes outside the city, you can do really beautiful coastal and sort of nature scenes as well. And that's important when you're planning a film. That takes place in multiple locations. If you can find all those locations within a fairly short span of one another, that is a big plus.
Well, one of the latest ones to feature Victoria is a new series. It's going to be on Crave called Yaga. It's set to premiere an 8-episode series in October, but the teaser just came out. And in the teaser, you can see the Kiwanis Tea Room in Oak Bay is one of the things that stands out. So we'll see what else we can pick out of the Victoria area once the show hits the streaming services. And we got Richard Krause on the line, CTV News film critic. Of course, he's got a show here on CFAX as well, Saturday evenings. Anything else to say about Yaga before we let you go?
Yeah, Sheila McCarthy is also one of the stars there. And when I was in Victoria in February for the Great Victoria Film Festival, I interviewed her on stage and discovered that she spent a lot of time in Victoria. She helped found a theater company there and loves it, and just finished, I think, when we did this interview in February. I think she had just finished shooting Yaga. So I'll be curious to see it, but it looks to be a cool show, and I'll be curious to see Victoria on the screen.
Richard Krause, always a pleasure. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
We got the 7 o'clock news with Lisa Best coming up next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:01 on this Tuesday, July 28th. A little cloudy for the day. We do have a chance of showers with us this morning. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Thank you, Ryan, and good morning. We begin with the wildfire situation on the interior. A counselor for the village of Clinton says a lot of sad stories are emerging from the area where homes and other structures have been destroyed by a couple of wildfires that have converged. While the village itself has mostly been spared, Nicholas Kosovic's properties have been lost south of town. That includes Steve's Towing and Auto Body, whose owner, Steve Larrabee, on Saturday said that's due to at least 4 hours of government inaction. And his family lost everything to the blaze as a result.
Do you know what kind of environment disaster that is to our environment? Gas, diesel, excavators burning, equipment burning, everything.
The mayor of Clinton, Roland Sankey, says the crew will assess the fire-ravaged village today, and people whose property suffered damage will be contacted personally. He says there's a lot of misinformation circulating on social media. On the larger update, the BC Wildfire Service says there's 139 fires burning. 51 are considered out of control. 16 new starts in the last 24 hours. 4 fires are burning on Vancouver Island, but they're all either being held or under control. Officials in Japan are warning people to be mindful of powerful aftershocks after a major quake rocked southern Japan. A 6.8 magnitude earthquake centered off the coast of southern Japan led to structural damage and dozens of injuries.
Fires have been reported, thousands are without power, and there are also concerns about landslides. There's a particular focus on a mall where the floor collapsed, and aerials from the scene show the roof has caved in too. Local media say at least 50 people are in the hospital with injuries. The Prime Minister has said people's lives are the top priority, and they've set up a task force to deploy for rescue operations if needed.
At hospitals here, recent data shows some psychiatric patients wait days in the emergency department for hospital admission, far longer than other patients do. And experts say the ER environment is chaos, noise, and never-dimming lights, and that could be harmful for a person in a mental health crisis. Karen Rebo tells us the situation is made only worse if that patient is kept isolated in a tiny, secure room.
A Vancouver woman who says she was locked in a seclusion room several times between 1992 and 2015 recalls the environment only aggravating her paranoia and hallucinations. She can still remember the room vividly. Not much bigger than a stretcher, she says. No door handle or light switch, a mattress on the floor, and a steel toilet in the corner. She says it was the most confining, horrible, anxiety-provoking experience in her life.
Alberta Psychiatric Association President Dr. Karen Duncalf says the reason why patients wait longer isn't always simple, but she says there are contributing factors, including bed capacity issues and lack of community supports. Those need to be addressed in the same vein. New numbers revealing dozens of people who came to Canada for the FIFA World Cup have since claimed asylum here.
175 people who flagged the tournament on their temporary residence applications before traveling to Canada went on to submit asylum claims. It's out of more than the 26,000 people who said the World Cup was their purpose for visiting. The highest number of claimants came from Ghana.
CTV's Zariah Ullman says there was 25 claimants from that country alone, with more than a dozen also coming from Colombia, Egypt, and Kenya. And stateside at a rally in Michigan last night, Donald Trump defended his new tariffs on dozens of countries, including ours.
President Trump says his economic policies have revived the auto industry and American manufacturing. His comments in a Detroit suburb came as many businesses there contend that sweeping tariffs he's imposed against Canada and the rest of the world have hurt Michigan. A heckler interrupting his speech, Trump shooting back.
He's a communist. He's a communist.
I'm Julie Walker.
We're going to hear from BC's Jobs and Economic Minister Ravi Kahlon. He'll be live at 7:50 talking about the ongoing U.S. booze ban in BC and other provinces. And also Victoria MP Will Grease will be on at 8:20 in response for the response needed for the U.S. executive order that could be another 50% tariffs on Canadian goods starting mid-August. That's your news to 7:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question today. We're asking if you're pre-registered with BC's Emergency Support Services. That move will fast-track support for you during an evacuation. 95% say no. You can vote at CFAX1070.com, Twitter X, also the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 7:07.
Why, thank you, Lisa. We have, well, dry conditions for the most part around Victoria. If I'm wrong, text me at 71010, but a chance of showers hanging over us. It should be clearing up as the day goes on. Right now, we're sitting at a temperature of 14 degrees. Okay, let's talk CFAX 1070 sports. And this just kind of came down my newswire. Canada will host Denmark in a pair of international friendlies ahead of qualification for next summer's Women's World Cup. Yeah, if you were psyched about the Men's World Cup that just wrapped up in the world of soccer, we got the women's one next year, and things are ramping up. Canada Soccer announced just this morning that the women's national team will face the Danes on October 9th at Montreal's Stade Saputo before closing out the FIFA international break on October 12th at Toronto's BMO Field. The exhibitions will be Canada's final tune-ups before November's CONCACAF Women's Championship, which will serve as qualification for both the 2027 Women's World Cup and the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. Okay, local stuff. We got the Victoria Harbour Cats off yesterday. Today they returned to Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium, to open up a 3-game series against the Port Angeles Lefties. Toronto Blue Jays will be looking to make it 2 in a row as they face the Washington Nationals in the second of a set of 3 games. The Jays won last night's opener 3-2. And Nanaimo's Ethan Katzberg winning the men's hammer throw gold medal at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, setting a new games record with 80.97 meters on his very first attempt. The 24-year-old Nanaimo man upgraded to gold after winning the silver medal in the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. That's your CFAX 1070 Sports to 7:09. Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Until August 5th, get 600 Scene Plus points when you buy any participating cheeses and meats to build your own summer snacking bundle. Over to the roads, things are starting to get a little bit busier on the West Shore commute, but really not too much. I think we're still in that summer period where there's not as many folks in their regular routines because the commute's looking fairly light right now, and no major blips like crashes or other problems. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. No sailing rates at BC Ferries, and looking over to the weather forecast. Well, we do have a chance of showers hanging over us. It's been mostly dry so far, at least for the last couple of hours, and we will start to see things clearing up into the afternoon. Highs of 21, a few clouds tonight, lows down to 13. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, highs of 21. Sunshine through Thursday and Friday. Temperatures getting up on Friday to a high of 23, but now we've got rain coming into the forecast for Saturday. Hopefully it clears up by Sunday. Currently, the forecast is suggesting we could get the sun back on Sunday, but that's the longer range forecast. We'll see how that adjusts as we get closer to it. On the markets right now, here's what North American stock markets are doing. S&P TSX down 138 to 35,429. The Dow is up 332 to 52,542. NASDAQ has dropped 297. Down to 27,634. Canadian dollar at 70.9 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Texters at 71010 sharing some of the movies or films or TV shows they've seen that have featured Victoria.
Okay.
Why are we talking about this? Well, there's this new thriller series that's coming to Crave. It's called Yaga, and the trailer for it is out, and it features bits of Victoria like the Kiwanis Tea Room at Willows Beach in Oak Bay.
And some good actors in it, too.
Yeah.
Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yeah, Carrie-Anne Moss is in this, and it'll be out on Crave streaming in October, but the trailer's out, so everybody's like, oh, hey, look, you can see Victoria in this thing.
Very cool.
And we're talking to Richard Krause a few moments ago about just some of the cool movies and TV shows we've seen over the years that have featured Victoria, and he was talking about, why Victoria is such a great place to make a... to make a movie. This texter at 71010 says another newish movie filmed in Victoria is Mile 1, Chapters 1 and 2, starring Ryan Philippe, or Philippe, I'm not sure exactly, but...
Ryan Philippe.
Thank you.
Yep.
You got my back. So that one is featuring Victoria. Thank you, texter, for the suggestion. This texter at 71010 says, I love watching the Hallmark movies on the Women's Channel. I watched three of their movies over the weekend, and Greater Victoria was through it all. That's great.
That's so cool. You feel like you're home on the screen. It's surreal to watch.
And it's also neat when you're walking around and you stumble into a film set in Victoria and you're like, I wonder what this is for. I wonder if I'll see this a few years from now on some Hallmark movie or whatever it is.
Well, we have a lot of Hallmark that happens here because sometimes you're around the corner on summer and suddenly it's Christmas.
Yeah, I love that.
What happened?
It's like, why is it snowy?
And everybody's got Christmas sweaters on. Everybody's got good hair.
Now, well, everybody got really good looking on the street for some reason. I don't know why.
It's full on Christmas and there's a pageant or something and a love triangle. There's got to be a love triangle.
I mentioned, and so did Richard Krause a few moments ago, that one of the famous movies to get filmed here was Bird on a Wire in the 80s with Goldie Hawn and Mel Gibson, and they had that motorcycle chase down Fantan Alley. This texter at 71010, Chris, good morning to you, Chris. Chris says, good morning, Ryan and Lisa. I had a large delivery that I had to do in Fantan Alley while they were shooting Bird on a Wire. I had to wait until they took a break, and then I was escorted by Vic PD to the site. Both of us were grinning like fools as we looked up at everything that was all set up. Great memories. That's from Chris.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to rub shoulders with movie greatness, as it were, when you're right in the middle of it. So don't say it can't happen to you. You could be a bystander in the film, even by mistake.
And the latest one, Yaga, will be on Crave coming in October. And Crave, of course, owned by Bell Media, which also owns CFAX 1070, all in the family here. We'll take a quick break here and get to the news. But when we come back, we're going to be talking about mining and how BC mining might fit into the trade troubles between Canada and the U.S. right now. That's an issue to explore in just a moment. But first to the headlines, and here's Lisa.
A new poll of Canadians finds 46% of people asked encounter scams or frauds attempts weekly or even daily. Commissioned by TD, conducted by Leger, the poll found that more than half of respondents reported behaviors that could make them more vulnerable, such as using public Wi-Fi to access personal or financial accounts and opening email attachments from unknown senders. Yet almost 90% say they do feel confident in their ability to spot fraud. The bank's vice president of fraud management says overconfidence can quickly lead to decisions or overlooked warning signs that scammers exploit. Bell Canada is launching a tool powered by artificial intelligence to help protect customers against fraud, and that involves call ID spoofing. The tactic is used by scammers to impersonate organizations, local businesses, or personal contacts. It adds to Bell's suspicious call detection feature launched last year to monitor incoming calls in real time and alert you to potential scams and frauds using AI analytics. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's meeting with the U.S. president today is the first since the two leaders launched a joint war against Iran and a chance for Netanyahu to smooth out strains in their relationship. Trump is also set to meet with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky today. It's their second sit-down this month. This as Trump urges Iran to make a deal so he, quote, won't have to hurt the people. Trump has repeatedly repeated his threats to knock down bridges, power plants, and other infrastructure. He told Fox News that Iran knows he will finish the job. If its leaders don't make a deal to end the war, he says millions of people will then struggle to get by. And that's your news to 7:16.
Texter 71010 says, hey, have you mentioned that Hudson Williams is in Yaga? Yeah, of course, he's huge ever since that show Heated Rivalry, which took the world by storm. Another Canadian TV show, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I guess he's in this Yaga show that was filmed around Victoria.
This sounds fantastic.
Is that the one he was filming where he made that comment about Victoria being boring?
I believe that may have been
filled
linked
with
to
old
that.
people.
And then we spun that into bumper stickers.
Yeah, we made all those bumper stickers. That, of course, yes.
For charity?
That's why he was here.
Right. So thank you. Come back again. Say some interesting, colorful things about our city.
We'll make more
and
bumper
then
stickers.
We can make more money for charity.
Yeah. The same texter mentions that Made is another series
that's
on
series.
Netflix that was also filmed around here, too.
It's very good.
Great
people
suggestions.
are texting in numbers, right?
Yes. So don't text me your numbers just yet because
it's too soon.
We haven't drawn the numbers. So I don't know if you're right or not because we haven't done the draw. So once we draw the number for the CFAX 1070 meat draw, brought to you by Glenwood Meats, which is going to be where you can spend your $100. It's a $100 gift certificate to Glenwood Meats in our meat draw. We're going to pull a number out later this hour, and then at 8:10, we'll call the person who texted the correct number. But I'm not going to take those numbers until we've done the draw.
It's too soon.
Too soon is what I'm saying.
Too soon. But someone did text in wieners, so you get points for that.
Yeah, you could buy lots.
Some things die hard.
And another texture at 71010. Sorry, back to the movies. Hey, Ryan and Lisa, one scene in Bird on a Wire was shot in the Yates Street branch of the then Pacific Coast Savings. Two of my coworkers were extras and are in the shot.
See?
Oh, that's cool.
Just being there, sometimes you could be an extra.
Yeah.
Super cool.
That's so neat.
And the craft food services, yeah, they're worth the price of admission.
Oh, another texter. Dennis Hopper was in The Keeper, filmed in Machosen. Not a great movie, says the texter, but we watched them film it in our next door neighbor's yard, and our driveway was there, as was Matheson Lake. That's from Gwen. Thanks for texting,
cool.
Gwen.
That's so cool.
I love that. Okay, well, hey, keep them coming. I love these suggestions of movies and TV shows to watch that feature Victoria. But we're going to talk mining for a moment because BC mining operations in the news. Because how do they fit into the latest trade spat between the U.S. and Canada? That's next. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Still fairly sleepy out there on the roads. No crashes, no major congestion from the West Shore into Victoria. Just the usual slowdown on the Trans-Canada Highway as you go through the ongoing bus lane widening project for the BC Ferries. No sailing waits right now. Although I do have a note that the 8 o'clock sailing is being delayed by about 18 minutes. Not sure exactly what's going on there, but it's going to leave a little late. It's still going to leave, though, and there's still room on it if you want to get on to that 8 o'clock sailing from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. In the weather forecast, 14 degrees right now. We're eventually going to climb to a high of about 21. It's been fairly dry for the last little bit. We do have a chance of showers hanging over us, but it's supposed to clear up. So, it's possible we might see the odd bit of precipitation still, but we're starting to get into a drier day here in Victoria.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
All right, so trade tensions between Canada and the U.S. escalating again. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order starting the clock on this new 50% tariff threat. BC's mining sector, in reaction to all this, worried that Premier David Eby has suggested Canada could restrict American access to Canadian, critical minerals, stuff that we mine here, in response to this U.S. tariff. So how does BC mining fit into this overall trade spat? We wanted to get a perspective on this, so we've reached out to the CEO of the BC Mining Association, Michael Goring, who's joining us on the line. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Ryan. Thanks. Good morning.
I'm doing great. So that's my very rough understanding of this, is this sort of, the back and forth and the heated words start to get exchanged. So take me through how BC mining could fit into this.
Well, Ryan, I think it's important to first say, BC is a key supplier of critical minerals and metals to the U.S. Our exports into the U.S. on an annual basis come in somewhere around, 2.2 billion annually. So the U.S. depends on those critical minerals and metals to drive its economy and feed its defense and technology industries. The prospect of Canada restricting exports of critical minerals into the U.S., at this time is concerning to industry on the basis, really, that could lead to a more severe escalation in this existing trade war. And could be counterproductive for Canada ultimately.
When we talk about critical minerals, what kind of stuff are we talking about? What does BC produce that is considered a critical mineral?
Well, we produce, 18 of what Canada refers to. What Canada has 34 critical minerals, and British Columbia produces 18 of those. But what we're primarily exporting into the U.S. is lead, zinc, germanium, and aluminum.
And are those considered critical? Like aluminum? That's a pretty common thing, you think?
No, it's definitely critical mineral.
All right, so those are the kind of materials we're really talking about here that could be restricted. And at this stage in trade, are we already seeing the mining industry impacted by tariffs in BC, or has this so far been okay? Or what's the situation before we even get to this next stage of possible escalation?
I think about approximately 8% of British Columbia's exports to the U.S. are critical minerals and metals. We're the least vulnerable province in Canada to this trade war in terms of mines and metals because most of our critical minerals are exported into Asia. Ontario and Quebec are much more vulnerable to this issue. And so, it's important, I think, stop with that. But, I think it's important for British Columbians to know, first of all, as Canadians, our industry, we're as frustrated as any Canadian, along with our political leaders, with the current state around U.S.-Canada relations. I mean, this is a difficult and volatile situation. So So we understand, people's kind of feeling of wanting to respond in kind. However, again, those restricting those exports to the U.S. At this time may lead to, more of an escalation in the trade war that could ultimately, we could see further measures from the U.S. on Canada as a result of that because of the importance of critical minerals to the U.S. economy.
I think it's interesting what you said, though. I don't think I had my head around that a lot of what BC is producing when it comes to these minerals and our mining, we are in BC a little less tied to the U.S. We send a lot of our stuff to Asia. So I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, that's correct. And I think, part of where we need to go, and I think where we're trying to go as a nation in this current trade war with the U.S. is diversify, our trade that we currently enjoy with the U.S. And it's easier said than done. Both the government of Canada and the province of BC are definitely seeking new markets. But I think it's important to know we have the minerals, critical minerals and metals here in BC that our allies need. And, the U.S. market is right there. They do depend on BC and Canadian critical minerals. And sure, we could cause some challenges for them if we were to restrict, our exports. But I think, part of what we should be doing is we should be at the table. We should be negotiating and try and pursue an agreement, a renewed CUSMA, if possible, that meets Canada's national interest. But at the same time, we should also be looking at other markets to reduce our trade vulnerability with the U.S. There are other countries in the G7 and in NATO, that need critical minerals and metals, and we have the materials that those countries need.
Michael Goring is CEO of the BC Mining Association, just reacting to the comments from BC Premier David Eby about, possibly restricting access to some of Canada's minerals in the latest back and forth on trade with the U.S. president. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us some perspective on this.
Thank you, Ryan. Take care.
Yeah, well, that's a story we'll keep following as that will develop over the course of the week. But we got to take a break right now. The 7:30 news with Lisa is next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Catch all the excitement of summer baseball with the Victoria Harbour Cats. More info at harbourcats.com. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured.
Get more event info at CFAX1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:31 on this Tuesday, July 28th. Still a small chance of showers in the forecast, but it's going to be clearing up as the day goes on. 14 degrees right now. Full forecast to come, but right now the news begins with Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. The BC wildfire update this morning shows 139 wildfires burning, 51 considered out of control. 16 new starts in the last 24 hours. There are no new fires on Vancouver Island. The 4 fires that are burning are either considered being held or under control. Not the same story on the mainland. The mayor of the village of Clinton says a crew will assess the fire-ravaged village, and people whose property suffered damage will be contacted personally. Robert Stanke says crews were in town yesterday and today. He hopes people will find out about damage from the assessors rather than relying on some misinformation that's circulating on Facebook and other social media sites. He says smoldering embers are rampant throughout the village, and that could cause more flare-ups. He says a bypass has been opened to allow untreated water to be used to fight fires, but for those who defy the evacuation order, they'll now have to boil the water moving forward for the time being. A new study on the planet-warming emissions released during Canada's record 2023 wildfire season suggests a majority came from not trees, but from soil and peat burning. The study estimates for the first time that about 3/4 of those emissions came from burning below ground. The study's author, Elimu Gonsama, says that they took this project to attribute the total emissions into the live biomass that includes trees and small shrubs into peat and soil.
And even if we remove all the trees from the surface, let's say that's extreme measure of forest management. And what our study shows that 33% of the land area burning is just peat.
The findings suggest increasingly intense wildfires are exposing Canada's vast stores of soil and peat carbon, raising the risk of climate feedback loop in which fire releases more planet-warming emissions that help drive further warming. Nanaimo RCMP investigating a suspicious blaze in Bowen Park last weekend. Police say someone, for some reason, set fire to 2 large trees that are lining the path of the pedestrian walk path and near the Riverside Drive entrance to the park. Firefighters were able to put the flames out before the fire spread, but they say the trees are damaged, and they also detected a strong chemical odor in the at the scene, so a propellant may have been used. Anyone who saw any activity near the Bowen Park pedestrian path Sunday morning is asked to contact Nanaimo RCMP. In Spain and France, hundreds of thousands of people have fled their towns as wildfires continue to tear up large swaths of land.
This is really an unprecedented moment for people here in Spain. Officials saying the Avila fire, which has been burning west of Madrid, is the largest fire ever recorded here in the country. We're talking about more than 135,000 acres have burned at the start of this week.
Lots of unprecedented firsts, and of course the heat continues throughout the country. There are some reports the federal government is nearing a deal that would see news return to Meta's social media platforms. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more on this and how it's all intertwined with the ongoing U.S.-Canada trade talks.
The reality is we're not willing to do it for free.
Meta has blocked news on Instagram and Facebook since 2023 when the Online News Act called for tech giants to pay Canadian producers. It did not respond to multiple requests for comment about what's on the table. Last year, Ottawa dropped the digital services tax because it angered Donald Trump. Miller was asked if there were any plans to repeal this Online News Act.
No plans.
Meanwhile, we do know that Dominic LeBlanc is headed to Washington for trade talks with U.S. officials this week for the first time since Donald Trump's new threat of bringing in 50% tariffs against some countries, including Canada, starting August 19th. And Walmart has lost its title that it held for 12 consecutive years, no longer the largest company in the world.
At least not according to the Fortune Global 500 ranking released this morning. Amazon is number 1 this year, with revenue surging 12% and surpassing $700 billion. Behind the online retailer is former number 1 Walmart, followed by China's State Grid, United Healthcare Group, and Saudi Aramco. Apple comes in as the world's 6th largest company by revenue.
And that is your news to 7:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. Since we're watching wildfires and flooding situations across Canada, we're asking you if you pre-registered with the BC Emergency Support Services. That move fast-track support for you during a possible evacuation. But over 90% say no. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com. Also, the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Sebastian News Time, 7:37.
Thank you, Lisa. I've got a bit of a mystery. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the
That
answer.
makes a mystery, yeah.
Maybe somebody out there knows the answer and can text me. But this is a text message that just came in.
Okay.
It says, any update on the horrible sewage-like smell on the Trans-Canada near Portage Inlet? It's very overwhelming on the bus this morning.
Oh.
The smell is next to the open pit for the bus lane expansion. I don't know. I haven't heard about this, but apparently there's a very bad smell. If you know why, you can text me at 71010.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Let's get to the bottom of that one.
Sorry I don't have the answer for you, but maybe somebody out there does, so we'll get into that. CFAX 1070 Sports. So let's talk baseball. The Blue Jays beat the Washington Nationals 3-2 last night as the clock ticks down on the MLB trade deadline. And Max Scherzer made his return from injury last night facing his former team on what was his 42nd birthday. He only allowed one run, but Scherzer didn't make it through to the third inning.
For me, this is health. I feel good, feel great. It was just great to be back out there competing, so just make sure I can recover and get back out there. It's good. It's special. Got a lot of great memories here in D.C., so the fans, wanted to show them respect as well.
The Jays have won 3 of the last 5 games, but still remain well back of a playoff spot and in last place in their division. For local baseball, the Harper Cats had a day off yesterday. They return to Wilson's Group Stadium, Royal Athletic Park, tonight to open up a 3-game series against the Port Angeles Lefties. The BC Lions have added a defensive talent to their struggling squad, Lorenzo Molden IV, who was the CFL's top defensive player in 2022 when he posted a league-leading 17 sacks, has now signed with the 1-5 Leos. That news came out yesterday. The last place Lions visit the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on this Thursday. And that is your CFAX 1070 Sports at 7:39. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, things are moving fairly smoothly for the West Shore commute. A little slow on the Trans-Canada Highway, but it's through the construction zone. Nothing really unusual there. If you see anything unusual, though, text me at 71010. No sailing waits at BC Ferries, although the 8 o'clock sailing from Swartz Bay to Swanson apparently has been delayed by about 18 minutes. So a little late, but not full. At least there's room on it. And in the weather forecast, there has been a chance of showers hanging over us this morning. It seems like it's starting to clear up a little bit, though, as the day goes on. Highs of 21 degrees. Few clouds overnight, lows to 13. Mix of sun and cloud tomorrow. Sunshine for Thursday and Friday, but now rain in the forecast for Saturday. Although it doesn't last, it looks like it'll be cleared up by Sunday. Right now it's 14 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto down 73 to 35,494. The Dow is up 427 to 52,637. Canadian dollar at 70.9 cents U.S. Oh, and the barrel of crude oil down $1.53 from yesterday to $81.08 U.S. a barrel.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Mystery smell. So a texter just a few moments ago said they were kind of near Portage Inlet on the Trans-Canada Highway on the bus, and there was just this overwhelming kind of sewage-like smell. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on, but this texter at 71010 had a suggestion. He goes, Vince here. Could it be the tidal smell from Portage Inlet? Don't know, but there's a suggestion.
Could be. That doesn't smell like sewage, though, does it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
This texter says, get to the bottom of that sewage smell. And this texter says, the pulp smell is very strong today in Nanaimo.
The what smell?
The pulp. You know the pulp smell?
Yes, yeah, that's a really potent smell, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's a smell mystery. If you know what's going on, let me know at 71010. But I want to go back to our earlier conversation because I've had some more wonderful suggestions of Victoria on film. What are some TV shows or movies that you love that feature Victoria because they were filmed here or take place here or whatever the case may be? We're doing this because there's this new series on Crave coming out in October called Yaga, and the trailer just dropped, and you can see the Kiwanis Tea Room at Willows Beach in Oak Bay as one of the things. It was filmed here. It's the one where Hudson Williams from Heated Rivalry was here and made the comments about Victoria being boring and all that.
He's back and he's making more bumper stickers for us. Here's hoping.
Anyways, texter at 71010 says, another movie shot in Victoria was 1973, Harry in Your Pocket, a pickpocket story. It was filmed on Government Street starring James Coburn. Also, a segment of MacGyver was filmed at the Broad Street Parkade.
Really? MacGyver was in town?
Yeah,
Okay.
MacGyver. This texter says, we also filmed the whole Netflix series Scaredy Cats in Victoria. Great Halloween series for kids. My daughter was an extra on there for weeks, and I also got dragged into a scene just for being nearby. Oh, that's cool.
Again, see?
Like
Be a
that.
bystander. It can pay off sometimes. How else are you going to get discovered for film?
You just got to stand around.
You gotta-
Hopefully
pick me.
Yeah. This texter says, I was the stunt double for Nightcrawler in X-Men 2. And some of the filming we did was at Royal Roads University and Goldstream Provincial Park.
Fantastic.
I loved, because I did some of my, I did my university degree at Royal Roads University. So you got to hang around Hatley Castle sometimes. And it was really neat to go in there and be like, oh, I recognize that from X2. This is where Wolverine killed that guy. Right there by that pool table, you know?
It's not a comedy.
No.
Pool table's now infamous.
This texter here says, Harry in Your Pocket filmed here. We got that one, but that's great. Back in the 70s. Good to know. So cool to hear about all of your favorite TV shows and movies filmed in Victoria.
Love it.
Keep them coming if you want to. It's great. I should, though, do some business.
What's your business?
Well, the meat draw's coming up,
Oh, that's
Lisa.
right.
So
We got good business.
let's just remind everybody again how this is going to work. Pretty soon, I'm going to draw a number, and it's going to be between 1 and 100.
Secret number.
Secret number. I haven't drawn it yet, but when I draw it, then I'll tell you that I've drawn the number, and then you will text me at 71010 a number between 1 and 100. That's all you got to put in there.
What do you think is it? Yeah.
Yeah, and if the first person to get it right will get a call from me, and I will, if I can reach you, give you $100 to Glenwood Meats because you'll win the meat draw.
And yesterday's winner chose 50, which was correct, obviously. So
It was kind of weird that 50 was our first number, but it was what it picked.
It's a tip that possibly 50 may not be the number today.
Well, I don't know because it's random. If we
It is random.
If we got 50 twice in a row, that would be weird.
It would be weird. So there you go. Now you've got 99 to choose from.
All right. We'll be doing that very soon. I just wanted to put you on standby. Right now, though, it's time for the headlines. It is 7:45, and here is Lisa.
A new study released today by the Fraser Institute finds the average Canadian family of four will pay an estimated over $21,000 for public health care insurance this year alone. The study estimates a typical family of four, two parents, two kids, with an average household income of $203,000 will pay that amount. Couples without dependent children will pay about $19,000 and change. Single Canadians, just over $6,400. Most Canadians are unaware of the true cost of healthcare because they never see a bill for the services and may only be aware of the partial cost collected via employer health taxes and contributions in provinces that have them. Because of general government revenue, not the dedicated tax that funds Canada's public health care system. In fact, the cost of public health care insurance for the average Canadian family increased 2.3 times as fast as the cost of food, 1.5 times as fast as the cost of housing. Next door in Alberta, starting Friday, Albertans will be able to pay out of pocket to bypass medical referrals for diagnostic screening like MRIs and ultrasound. The announcement by the Premier follows up legislation passed by her U.S. United Conservative government this spring. Patients will pay for tests when they receive them and potentially be reimbursed if the results lead to a cancer diagnosis. Providers can still decide whether they'll offer the service and will also have the power to decide whether to modify the test as a result. The announcement is alongside other proposals made by Alberta's government to privatize portions of healthcare. That's your news to 747.
Thank you, Lisa. We've got Ravi Kahlon, BC's Jobs and Economic Minister, joining us in just a moment. He's going to be weighing in on the latest trade spat between Canada and the U.S. and how BC could fit into it, and also how BC could access some federal emergency funding if this does start to bite. Also, he was talking about that BC Place Stadium thing. Remember yesterday?
Yeah.
We talked about this, the fact that the Whitecaps, maybe even the BC Lions, would like to take on kind of running BC Place Stadium themselves. And he mentioned, Ravi Kahlon himself was asked about this and kind of mentioned that it was, a maybe.
A solid maybe.
A maybe. He didn't say no. He didn't say yes.
Not.
Just sort of opened the door to it, though. So I want to ask him about that as well. So he's joining us in just a moment after traffic and weather.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50-50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Things are moving pretty typically on the West Shore commute. No other major issues on our routes. The Malahat looks clear. Pat Bay Highway looking good too. If you are going to BC Ferries, the 8 o'clock sailing is a little delayed for some reason. They haven't specified why, but it's leaving a little late, but there's still room left on it. So it's not full, just late. And for the weather forecast, we've got the few showers did fall kind of overnight. We've had a chance of showers hanging over us this morning, but not much has been happening since. We are expecting it to clear as the day goes on. Highs of 21 today. A few clouds overnight, lows to 13. And then tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, highs of 21. Sunshine for the rest of the week until Saturday. Then rain could be showing up to start the weekend. Right now, 14 degrees.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Well, BC Premier David Eby talking about possibilities as the trade spat with the U.S. heats up again. Let's get into this with BC's Minister of Jobs and Economics, Ravi Kahlon, who's joining us on the line. Sir, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
It was great to get you. So what's it like around the cabinet table right now as yet another sort of trade escalation is coming at us after Donald Trump's latest threats, and that 50% tariff on some Canadian products is being planned. So what? Tell me what the mood's like around the table.
It's probably similar to most people that are listening to your show when they hear this, and they're like, again, like, are we really? Is this where we're going? It doesn't. I guess when the discussions first happened and these tariffs were announced, there was a bit of a shock But now, we can hear something in the morning. It can be something completely different in the afternoon, and there'll be something new in the evening. It just feels like there's just a lot coming at us. And the reality is, Ryan, that we took a decision some time ago, and the federal government's made a decision as well, where we realized we can't control what the President of the United States continuously does. It is a little erratic, but we can control what we can control, which is how do we make sure that we're...
Oh, you still there, Minister?
Taking very thoughtful steps to expand trade, remove interprovincial trade barriers, attract economic investment, to starting to see the effects of that.
Hey, no worries. Your line's dropping out a little bit, but you got you back there. But here's my question for you. We have heard David Eby mention possible things that we could retaliate with, maybe critical minerals. We're actually just talking to somebody from the Mining Association a little while ago, hoping we don't go there, hoping we don't escalate that way. But are there things on the table that BC or other Canadian provinces or the federal government could be looking at when it comes to retaliation? Or do you think that's even the right way to go?
Well, you know what? We made a decision to take U.S. alcohol off the shelves. I know that when we did that, we were told by, like BC Conservatives, for example, that was a bad move. We shouldn't have done that. But it's leverage. And we don't want to be doing this. We would prefer that the agreement that President Trump himself signed with Canada and negotiated just be honored. And unfortunately, that's not where we're at. And of course, as we do the work at the table and the negotiations continue, we're going to have to look at everything. But I think that is last resort. We would rather not do that. We would rather find a solution. And we're hoping that still we will find a pathway forward.
All right. But when it comes to things like trying to withhold critical minerals or something like that, which the Premier mentioned, this is not something we're looking at doing right away.
Well, our critical minerals are in high demand. I have meetings with key leaders from other jurisdictions, Asia and Europe. Everyone knows that British Columbia has what the world needs right now, and we do it in a very sustainable way, which actually helps us quite a bit, especially in the European markets where there's a higher value put to that. And so we have customers. I think it'd be better to avoid going into that tit for tat with the U.S. And certainly hoping that we don't have to go that. But these are things that we have that we know the U.S. needs. We hear the president on the radio, on TV, talking about that they don't need anything from Canada. Well, that's false. They need our forest products. They need our critical minerals. They need our energy. And I think that's important for us at these talks at the table.
We heard from the Premier as well that British Columbia might be able to access money from a federal emergency fund worth $1.5 billion. Where would that go, and what sectors would see that? How would that work?
Well, the new tariffs that have been put in place, I believe, disproportionately impact British Columbia in that I think the biggest area that will be hit will be the forest products, not the ones that have already have the duties and tariffs, but the more finished products. And we have a lot of finished products that come from Vancouver Island, from British Columbia, that get sold to the U.S. And so if these additional 50% kicks in a few weeks, that's where that impact will happen. And the agreement that we had amongst all the provinces was the federal government would create a pot of money that would be available for businesses that are impacted. So we're already reaching out to different sectors that potentially could be impacted by the additional tariffs that have been announced. And that pot of money will be available for them to support them, whether that's through loans, whether that's through direct grants.
And I guess there's also the possibility that all of this is just bluster. This is just some bargaining tactic ahead of CUSMA negotiations that the president is threatening. And maybe it doesn't even happen, I guess. There's another possibility.
Well, we have to plan for worst-case scenarios, and that's what we're doing. And yes, we know that Canadian officials are back at the table, heading back to Washington to have further conversations. But I have to say that the suggestion that somehow we remove the pieces that we have at the table, if we put U.S. alcohol back on the shelves, that somehow we're going to get a better deal, that is absolutely false. I know that's been raised by the BC Conservatives. We've seen time in, time out that every time Canada has moved, whether it was on the bridge, whether that was on the digital tax credit, they've come back for more. And it's just the way that the president of the United States likes to negotiate. And so we believe, from British Columbia perspective, we need to hold a firm line, and we need to have the U.S. honor the agreement that they signed with us originally.
Can I sneak one more topic in real quick? We've only got a couple moments left, but we got Ravi Kahlon, he's BC's Jobs and Economics Minister, talking about the trade spat. Well, one other thing, I know this is kind of small potatoes in the grand scheme of, trade wars, but I want to talk BC Place Stadium with you, if you don't mind, because you came up in conversation here. We were talking to a sports journalist from Vancouver yesterday on the show about the idea that the Whitecaps, who knows, maybe even the BC Lions, are interested in sort of taking over BC Place Stadium and running it themselves in some capacity. And I know you were quoted in one of the newspaper articles on this as being maybe open to the idea. So talk us through what that would look like and what kind of discussions are happening on this.
Yeah, well, first off, we're not interested in selling BC Place.
Okay.
And I have to be clear that no one has ever asked to buy BC Place.
Okay.
It's just been not a conversation that's come up anywhere. There has been suggestions by the Whitecaps and now against the Lions that they would be interested in leasing the stadium. But what we've said from the beginning, we've maintained this a pretty steady line, which is it has to come at no net cost to British Columbians. And PATCO does a very good job of running that stadium. We heard from the Whitecaps before the World Cup that the stadium wasn't good enough, this and that. And then after the World Cup happens, all you hear is praise of how amazing the stadium is. And so I think that myth has been blown out of the water. We're not interested in settling the stadium, but if there is interest in putting offers forward around leasing and so on, of course, that's something that we'll have to consider, but there's no decisions being made and there's no formal offers at this point.
Nothing formal yet, and you're not necessarily interested in selling the thing. That's okay. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
That helps clear that up, but maybe some discussions to come.
Yes, for sure. And, we want to keep the Whitecaps here. I think the energy and the excitement that we saw around the World Cup, it shows that we are a bit of a soccer nation. And having the team here, now having a professional women's team here, I think it's exciting. And I think the future for soccer, football is exciting for Canada.
Ravi Kahlon, BC's Jobs and Economics Minister. Much appreciated. Always appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Take care, my friend.
All right, we'll take a break. We got the 8 o'clock news coming up, and then we will be drawing that number for the CFAX Meat Draw powered by Glenwood Meats. That's all coming up, too.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 8:01 on Tuesday, July 28th. It's going to start to clear up a little bit as the day goes on. Still a small chance of showers hanging over us. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
We start on the main line where a counselor for the village of Clinton says some pretty sad stories are emerging from the area where homes and other structures have been destroyed by a couple of massive wildfires. While the village itself has been mostly spared, Nicholas Kosovic says properties have been lost south of the village. That includes Steve's Towing and Auto Body, whose owner, Steve Larrabee, didn't mince words. He says his family lost everything in the fire the night before, including their 2 homes and his big business on the property.
I noticed that the fire was coming over the hill, and we started to get our stuff out. And there was 4 hours that the government had time to help us. There's 4 hours. You know how hard is it to get a water bomber? How hard is it to get a plane?
The BC wildfire map shows 139 fires active across the province. More than 51 are classified as out of control. The 4 fires that are burning here on Vancouver Island are either considered being held or under control. A new study from the Planet Warming Emissions released during Canada's record wildfire season in 2023 suggests the majority of that came not from trees but from soil and peat. The study estimates for the first time that about 3/4 of those emissions came from burning below ground. Alumu Gonzamo is the author of the study led by McMaster University researchers in Hamilton.
We wanted to know how much of the big emission from 2023 is originating from live trees and pits and soil.
The data comes as Ontario battles a historic season today, this year, with fires edging into the carbon-rich Hudson Bay lowlands, which is the world's second largest peat complex. In Ontario, a woman who was victimized by alleged criminal network in the Greater Toronto area for 15 years has now led police to the largest human trafficking bust in the force's history. At a news conference earlier today, investigators revealed the results of Project Troubadour, a 10-month investigation that was initiated after the victim reported the criminal activity to police last fall. She is one of a dozen victims between the ages of 18 and 34 that police say were trafficked right across the country. But police say they believe that the 12 victims is just the tip of the iceberg. 8 people have been charged now as a result of the bust. They're now facing a combined 83 criminal charges. Recent data shows some psychiatric patients wait days in ER before they are admitted to hospital.
Mental health experts say psych wait far longer for an inpatient bed than other people do. They say the ER and its turbulent bustle, noise, and lights that never dim can be harmful to a person in a mental health crisis. Alberta Psychiatric Association President Dr. Karen Duncalf says it's tough to name just one reason why psych patients wait such a long time for a bed.
You know, that chaotic, noisy environment, it's not therapeutic, has a real meaningful impact on our patients as they wait.
She says all of the contributing factors, including bed capacity issues, underfunding, and a lack of community supports, need to be addressed at the same time. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
Public Safety Minister Gary Anandasangari says the spying allegations brought against a Canadian national in Europe are serious, and he wants to get to the bottom of it. The Belgian Federal Prosecutor's Office says a Canadian national of Chinese origin has been arrested on charges of espionage and participation in a criminal organization. And Asangari was asked about the issue yesterday when he was at a news conference here on the West Coast.
What I don't want to do is speculate on this specific case. I do acknowledge that there was a recent arrest in Belgium involving an intern with NATO who was a Canadian national.
The prosecutor's office says the suspect came to the attention of SHAPE's security services, who reported the matter to Belgium's military intelligence. Then it went wider. That's your news to 8:06. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. This morning, we're asking if you're pre-registered with BC's emergency support services that will fast-track support for you if an evacuation were to happen. Over 90% say no. You can vote at CFAX1070.com. Also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best. Your news time is 8:07.
Thank you, Lisa. Let's do this. Let's pick a number for the CFAX 1070 meat draw from Glenwood Meats. So numbers come out on a little machine.
Okay, little machine.
Imagine it's not actually like this, but
It's
imagine
actually
like
very
the
big machine.
the big bingo
Huge.
balls are popping up and stuff. So okay, I got a number. So now,
already? Okay.
as of now, text me at 71010. Pick a number between 1 and 100. The first person to get the number right will get a call from me in a few moments. And we will give you $100 to Glenwood Meats just in time for the BC Day long weekend holiday. How's that?
Oh, numbers coming in.
Sound good. Start
I'm
texting
seeing
us.
Lots of numbers.
71010.
Wow.
Give us that text. I'll call you shortly. Over to CFAX 1070 Sports. Nanaimo's Ethan Katzberg won the men's hammer throw gold medal at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland, setting a new games record with 80.97 meters on his very first attempt at throwing that hammer. The 24-year-old from Nanaimo upgraded to gold after winning the silver medal back in the 2022 Commonwealth Games. So Canada, just to sort of set the scene here, we got 21 medals in total now, including 7 gold, 8 bronze at the Commonwealth Games. Australia is leading the medal standings, though, with 59, including 26 gold. Okay, to the Victoria Harbour Cats. They had a day off yesterday. They return home to Wilson's Group Stadium, Royal Athletic Park, for tonight. They open up a 3-game series against the Port Angeles Lefties. In the majors, visiting Toronto Blue Jays will try to make it 2 wins in a row, and they face the Washington Nationals in the second set of their 3-game series. The Jays won last night's opener 3-2, and the Seattle Mariners lost 7-3 to the Texas Rangers yesterday, also in the majors. For the BC Lions, they've got a new player signed, defensive talent, Lorenzo Molden IV, who was the CFL's top defensive player back in 2022 when he posted a league-leading 17 sacks. Well, he's signed now with the 1-5 Leos. The 6'4", 257-pound Molden has been with Ottawa Redblacks. He ended last season with the Calgary Stampeders. Now he's coming to the BC Lions. The Lions will visit the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this Thursday, a game which, of course, will be right here on CFAX 1070. That's your sports to 8:09. Keep those meat draw numbers coming. We're going to call somebody shortly. Oh, man, there's so many text messages. All these numbers are flying around at 71010. The first person who gets the number between 1 and 100 right is going to be getting a call in just a second. But right now, what's happening in traffic and weather? Well, not a lot. We have just usual kind of volume delays on the Trans-Canada Highway heading in towards Victoria through the bus lane widening project. A little slow going, but it's nothing unusual. We have other routes like the Pat Bay, the Malahat. Everything else is looking pretty normal. For the weather forecast, looking at a mix of sun and cloud for the rest of the day after we clear up, but we still have that small chance of showers maybe hanging over us for this morning. Highs of 21 degrees. Then a few clouds tonight, lows down to 13. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, highs of 21. It's going to stay sunny for Thursday and Friday with temperatures in the low 20s, but then Saturday, rain is coming in for parts of the day, it looks like, at least in our long-range forecast. Right now, like I said, 14 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX kind of flat at the moment. It's now up 2 points. It was down to start the day, but it's kind of turning it around. Up 2 points to 35,570. The Dow is up 431 to 52,641. The Canadian dollar at 70.9 cents US, which is more or less where it was yesterday. It's technically up a fraction of a cent, but pretty much unchanged. And the barrel of oil at $81.85 US, down $1.16 from yesterday.
Let's get started. Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Oh, there's so many texts.
This is crazy.
So many texts.
I can't count that fast.
Where else are you going to find a meat draw on the radio? Nowhere.
We love Glenwood meats.
Right here. Okay, go to the phone line. All right, here we go. You ready?
You have the secret number.
Yeah, I've got it.
Someone got it right.
Somebody did. Okay, hang on. I've got a... Oh, wait. Sorry. Just give me a second. I've got to push buttons.
Yeah, keep with the number.
I'm trying to chew gum and talk at the same time is my problem.
Yeah, don't press the red button, whatever you do.
Don't do that. Okay, where do I find...
Call
there
that
it is.
Person.
Okay.
Secret person with a secret number. Okay.
Okay.
It's going to ring.
Yeah. Hopefully the person picks up the phone.
If your phone rings, pick it
it's
up.
Ringing. It's ringing.
Pick up your phone.
Hello.
Hi, who's this?
Joan.
Hi, Joan.
Would you happen to have been participating in a radio station meat draw a few moments ago?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Hey, Joan.
Well, Joan, so the number that came out of the little machine was 10, and you were the first person to text me the number 10.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
Yay.
So I get to play this for you. There you go.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Joan. You have won $100 to Glenwood Meats.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you overcome?
That's amazing. I am. I'm in shock.
Well, have you won anything like this before?
No, I haven't. This is just wonderful.
Well, it's time.
Oh, it's a real treat.
And
Thank you so
you get
much.
to go shopping now.
What is the
I
meat?
do, and I've been wanting to go to Glenwood Meats for
there
a
you
while.
go.
Now I can go.
What do you think you'll get? What's your favorite meat to have?
Oh, it's gonna be steak and roast.
Yeah, love it.
Awesome.
Sounds wonderful.
That's fantastic.
My kids will be so happy to hear that they're going to have a roast beef dinner.
Oh, traditional.
Yeah.
And you're going to cook and make them proud and with your recipe.
I will.
Most importantly, though, if you're doing roast beef, is there going to be Yorkshire pudding?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
You
good.
can't
Good.
have one without the other.
Good. Yeah, no, exactly. I always felt like the roast beef dinner was just an excuse for the Yorkshires. Like, the beef is good, but the Yorkshires are really what you're going for.
yeah, good point.
It's all just a vessel for Yorkshires.
And how many people are you having to dinner?
Oh, there'll probably be about 10.
Ooh, you're going to need that $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll take 2 roasts.
Well, Joan, hang on the line. I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to talk to you off the air, but thank you so much for participating in our Glenwood Meats Meat Draw.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
Okay, there you go. There's Joan. Oh, sorry, I cut you off, Joan. Apologies. I'm putting you back. Sorry, you were saying something, Joan. I cut you off. Go ahead, finish off.
No, I'm just saying I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Oh,
There you
good.
go.
Oh,
Hang
good.
on the line. Don't go anywhere. There you go.
Found cash for groceries never hurts, right?
It's something. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's food.
Both our winners so far have said, well, this is a real treat, and they're going to go get the meat that they wanted to have for a while. So it's fitting with the price of groceries. Yeah, we're filling in the blank here, so we're going to do it all again tomorrow.
Tomorrow, same time. So what we'll do is we'll draw that number close to 8:10, and when we do, that's when you'll text us your guess. What is the number between 1 and 100? And the first person at that point to send in the correct number gets a call.
Nice.
And gets the money. More importantly, gets the meat. It's 8:15. What's happening with the news? Lisa, take it away.
BC Highway Patrol curbing a driver who decided to take a test run in the mainland 10 days ago into a joyride. A 30-year-old Vancouver man had his prospective purchase impounded just east of Merritt. That's more than 300 kilometers away from the dealership where he started. Now, he did tell police that he and his girlfriend were overnight test drive from Vancouver to Kelowna. However, when police stopped the gray Toyota sedan, the driver was doing 172 in a 110 zone. Sergeant Michael McLaughlin says the vehicle did successfully demonstrate a good speed and then it also fits quite well into the back of a tow truck. Oh dear. No word on whether the driver actually decided to buy that vehicle afterwards, which obviously got a very pricey deal on that. Recently released diary entries from former Chief White House medical advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci are providing new insights into his thoughts during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the personal accounts released by Senator Rand Paul, Fauci was aware of the media's interest in him and even called it flattering in a May 2020 entry. However, it appears the attention Fauci received made the White House very upset due to the notion that he was becoming a star that was outshining the U.S. President Trump. By December of 22, his popularity took a negative turn as his final entry read, in part, "It's clear that the far extreme right literally hate me." A new study shows eating an avocado every day reduces the heart disease risk in obese adults. The findings at a Penn State University shows eating avocados regularly reduces low-density lipoprotein particles. They're the proteins that transport bad cholesterol in the blood. Authors of the study suggest the reduction translates to a roughly 4% reduction in heart disease risk among those who are obese. An interesting auction coming up. KFC founder Harland Sanders' pressure cooker, his black bow tie, and dozens of his personal items are going up for public auction. The family who bought his dinner house and residence in Kentucky are auctioning off those properties this week. The Claudia Sanders Dinner House was established after the Colonel sold his iconic restaurant chain. Auctioneer's Bill Menish says that Sanders was the original celebrity chef. That is true. Other items include watches, a cutlery set, and a bust sculpted by Sanders' daughter. A live auction being held today for the personal items, and sealed bids for the property will be accepted until Friday. And that is your news to 8:18.
Thank you, Lisa. One of the things we're exploring on the show is the latest trade spat between the United States and Canada. U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order which could place a 50% tariff on many Canadian goods, and both national provincial politics aimed at how we ought to respond. So we talked to the BC Minister of Jobs and the Economy last hour. Now we're going to turn federal. We're talking to Victoria Member of Parliament Will Greaves with the Liberal government. He's going to be joining us right after the break. CFAX 870 traffic and weather. It is 8:21 on a Tuesday morning, and the commute is looking pretty typical. No major crashes or other issues to speak of. Just usual volume delays from the West Shore into Victoria, but they're actually, as the summer has gone, lighter than usual. For BC Ferries, that 8 o'clock sailing left a little late, but it's on its way now. and there's lots of room left for the 9 from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. For the weather forecast, clouds to start. There have been some showers way earlier this morning, and there's a small chance of it, but really I think we're getting through that now. We should be dry for the rest of the day, knock on wood, with just a small chance of maybe some more drizzle. Highs of 21 today. A few clouds overnight, lows to 13. Mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow. Sunshine for Thursday, Friday, but then periods of rain back in the forecast on Saturday.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, one of the big issues we continue to explore is the possible escalation in the trade war between Canada and the U.S., with U.S. President Donald Trump signing this executive order, which could, if it comes to pass, place a 50% additional tariff on many Canadian goods. For another perspective on this, local Victoria Member of Parliament with the Liberals, Will Greaves, is joining us. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Ryan.
We were talking to a BC cabinet minister earlier in the show, and the first thing I asked him is, I think something I want to ask you too. Just take me into the room, into the caucus meeting. Everybody talking about this latest thing erupting, and just what's the mood like as this comes up at this point?
I think people are frustrated. You know, these kinds of decisions have real impacts on communities and economies and businesses right across the country. So every time since I've been in Parliament that there's been another round of either anti-Canadian kind of rhetoric or the imposition of tariffs or other, unjust trade measures that the United States has imposed on us, it has real impacts. And so my colleagues, certainly from some of the most heavily tariff-affected sectors of the country and the economy, they get angry and they get frustrated. And this is something that really, really has human consequences right at home where we live.
But is there a bit of a, because, when this first happened, we're going back over a year ago now, like there was such shock and anger and the elbows went up and all of that stuff. But at this point, is there any kind of sense that this is just, maybe an empty threat? This is like bluster. This is a bargaining tactic, or is it getting treated as seriously as, say, it was over a year ago?
Well, it is a bargaining tactic, and I think it was always a bargaining tactic. So tariffs are a tool that the President of the United States has decided he likes using because it's a very heavy, club to use to beat other countries into submission, and that's what he's trying to do with Canada. So I think we have always perceived the tariffs as being part of a broader negotiation about what the shape of the Canada-U.S. trade relationship would look like. That doesn't mean that, we can't take it seriously, even though we have seen the president fail to follow through with some of his tariff threats in the past. And that gives us some room for optimism that these might not fully come into place, even though he has now, thrown them down, so to speak.
What do you think is in your personal perspective, the correct thing to do from here? Is it kind of wait and see? Should we be getting ready for our own retaliation? Or, what direction do you think, the country or even the provinces should take? BC Premier David Eby mused that, maybe some critical minerals should be the things that we hold back on, access to our critical minerals if they're going to be tariffing us. Those kind of discussions are starting to happen. Where do you think we should go with this?
Well, I agree with the Prime Minister that every option should be on the table, and that's where we're at now in terms of the tariffs that have recently been announced. So there are lots of tools that Canada has at its disposal, and we've seen how effective some of those have been. We wouldn't hear so many American officials complaining about U.S. alcohol sales to Canada and the provinces not allowing them on the shelves if it wasn't having a major impact, on that sector in the United States. So we know that that's being effective, and we know that those businesses in the U.S. are lobbying their government to make changes so that they can sell their products in Canada again. So Canada has lots of tools. Critical minerals is certainly among them. At the end of the day, the biggest tool that we would have in our arsenal with the United States in terms of trade is energy, right? Canada supplies an enormous amount of particularly fossil fuel energy to the United States. And notwithstanding some premiers, objections to that, that's a potent card to play, and we'll see what comes, though. No one hopes that we will see the trade war continuing to escalate. The Prime Minister has said clearly that we want to get a new trade agreement with the United States. That's in everybody's interests. But we would rather not get any deal than sign a bad deal that gives too many concessions to an unreliable president who won't be trusted to keep his word.
Yeah, you mentioned the trade in fossil fuels, and actually that's interesting because that's another story I wanted to talk to you about. There's a report out from TD Economics which suggests this new oil pipeline that we've been talking about that could bring more Alberta crude oil across British Columbia to the coast. This TD Economics report suggesting it could increase Canada's GDP, but maybe by a little less than what the government's been saying. I think they're saying that the GDP boost could be closer to 0.3% is the number, which I guess is less so than the government has been talking about. What do you make of the economic impact of that pipeline that keeps coming up?
I think there are still significant unanswered questions about the economics and the business case of the pipeline that the government of Alberta has proposed. So I have no particular insight into the TD economics report or the methodology that they used for those numbers. But I think at a high level, there are very valid questions to be had about what the economic benefits and downsides of that project would be, both for the country and for BC. In particular, given what is currently a mostly publicly funded proposal from the government of Alberta. And when you're talking about public money going into a project like this, you have to ask yourself, what would the economic benefits be if that money were spent differently, right? And so I think that introduces a significant uncertainty around this project, which wouldn't necessarily be the case if it were privately funded, but that's not what we're seeing at the moment.
We got Will Greaves here. He's Victoria Member of Parliament with the Liberals, weighing in on a couple of the big stories that we've been following here, including, again, the trade spat, which has flared up again between the U.S. and Canada. Any final thoughts? Over to you for last word.
Well, only to tie these two stories together, maybe, which is that, you know, the government's emphasis and the Prime Minister's emphasis on diversifying Canadian trade in order to make us more resilient in the face of the trade war that the U.S. has imposed on us is really what's driving a lot of the interest in this West Coast pipeline. So not to say that there aren't very valid concerns that I know many people have about that project, but just to recognize that, you know, this is one of the ways in which we could potentially react to the trade war that the U.S. is forcing on us. And it's an unfortunate situation to be in that if we can improve the trade relationship with the U.S., may be that much less necessary.
Will Greaves, always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Great to speak with you today.
All right, we'll take a break. 8:30 News with Lisa next.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria,
An iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning. It's 8:30 on Tuesday, July 28th. We hopefully are getting through the rain. Small chance of showers still hanging over us. Otherwise, clearing up, maybe staying a bit cloudy, but at least out of the precipitation for the next little bit. We'll get you a full forecast in a moment. But right now the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
As we keep watching the BC wildfire situation, 139 fires burning in this province as of this hour, 51 considered out of control. There's been 16 new starts in the last 24 hours. The 4 fires that continue to burn on Vancouver Island are either considered being held or under control, so that's good news locally. A different story on the mainland. A councillor for the village of Clinton says some pretty sad stories are emerging from the area where homes and other structures have been destroyed by massive blazes that converged. While the village itself was mostly spared, Nicholas Kosovic says properties south of the village were lost. That includes Steve's Towing and Auto Body. Owner Steve Larrabee said that that's due to at least 4 hours of government inaction on the weekend. His family ended up losing everything to the fire.
Do you know what kind of environment disaster that is to our environment? Gas, diesel, excavators burning, equipment burning. Everything.
Yeah, check on Google Maps. He had a lot of vehicles sitting on his property, tires and whatnot. The mayor of Clinton, Roland Stanke, says a crew will assess the fire-ravaged village today, and people whose property suffered damage will be contacted personally. He says there's been a lot of misinformation circulating online. In Japan, officials warning people to be mindful of powerful aftershocks after a major earthquake rocked the southern part of that island nation. A 6.8 magnitude quake centered off the southern coast led to structural damage and dozens of injuries, and some people may still be trapped.
Fires have been reported, thousands are without power, and there are also concerns about landslides. There's a particular focus on a mall where the floor collapsed, and aerials from the scene show the roof has caved in too. Local media say at least 50 people are in the hospital with injuries. The Prime Minister has said people's lives are the top priority, and they've set up a task force to deploy for rescue operations if needed.
Recent data shows some psychiatric patients wait days in the emergency department just to be admitted to hospital, and they may wait far longer than other ER patients do. Experts say the ER environment is chaos, noise, and never-dimming lights. It can be harmful to a person who is dealing with a mental health crisis. Karen Rebo tells us the situation is made only worse if that patient is kept in a tiny, secure room.
A Vancouver woman who says she was locked in a seclusion room several times between 1992 and 2015 recalls the environment only aggravating her paranoia and hallucinations. She can still remember the room vividly. Not much bigger than a stretcher, she says. No door handle or light switch, a mattress on the floor, and a steel toilet in the corner. She says it was the most confining, horrible, anxiety-provoking experience in her life.
The Alberta Psychiatric Association President Dr. Karen Duncalf says the reason why patients wait longer isn't always a simple one, but she says all the contributing factors, including bed capacity issues and lack of community supports, need to be addressed under the same banner. Stateside at a rally in Michigan last night, Donald Trump speaking again, defending his new tariffs coming to dozens of countries, including Canada.
President Trump says his economic policies have revived the auto industry and American manufacturing. His comments in a Detroit suburb came as many businesses there contend that sweeping tariffs he's imposed against Canada and the rest of the world have hurt Michigan. A heckler interrupting his speech, Trump shooting back.
He's a communist. He's a communist.
I'm Julie Walker.
And if you like your KFC, well, there's nostalgia on the auction block.
KFC founder Colonel Sanders' pressure cooker, black bow tie, and dozens of other personal items are up for public auction. Along with his former home and a dinner house, Sanders opened after selling his iconic restaurant chain in 1964 to a group of investors, with Sanders continuing as brand ambassador for the company. Auctioneer Bill Minish.
He didn't dress like that before he was starting to build Kentucky Fried Chicken. He adopted the Colonel, the clothes, the bow tie, the glasses, the goatee.
Auctioneer Jonathan Klunk.
Yes, that not a lot of people know.
Says one hot item is Sanders' bow tie.
He did wear clip-ons.
The most sought-after item?
His 1964 day planner.
The planner was the subject of a lawsuit filed by the KFC Corp to keep the ingredients private, later dropped when they realized it was likely a recipe for stuffing. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
We'll keep you posted on how much the bow tie sells for. That's your news to 8:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. Are you pre-registered with BC's Emergency Report Support Services? That helps you fast-track support if you were to be evacuated. Over 90% say no. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time is 8:37.
Thanks, Lisa. Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday, where we're, I think, getting through the rain. There wasn't really much in the last few hours.
No, we got some blue out there.
Yeah, a couple of bits of blue sky. So while there's still technically a chance of showers, it looks like we're kind of getting through that right now, and I'll get you a full forecast in a moment. Right now, over to the sports, where let's talk Commonwealth Games. Really cool that Nanaimo's Ethan Katzberg won the men's hammer throw gold medal at the Commonwealth Games going on in Scotland right now. He set a new games record of 80.97 meters on his throw, which was his very first one, his first attempt. The 24-year-old from Nanaimo gets the gold after he won the silver medal at the same competition in the Commonwealth Games back in 2022. Canada with 21 medals in total now, including 7 gold, 8 bronze. Australia leading the medal standings with 59 overall. In local baseball, Victoria Harbour Cats had a day off yesterday, but they're in action tonight. They'll be at Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium, to open up the 3-game series against the Port Angeles Lefties. And for the majors, Toronto Blue Jays look to right-hander Shane Bieber when they continue their series in Washington with the Nationals. Toronto won the opener 3-2 last night. The Nationals are countering with right-hander Cade Cavilli. Seattle Mariners in action yesterday. They lost 7-3 to the Texas Rangers. And for, let's do this one again. Let's talk about the BC Lions, because they've added Lorenzo Molden IV to their defensive lineup. He was the CFL's top defensive player back in 2022 when he posted a league-leading 17 sacks. And yesterday it was announced he is signed with the 1-5 Leos. BC Lions next in action on Thursday against the Blue Bombers. It's going to be right here on CFAX 1070, so stay tuned for that game on the radio. And that is your sports to 8:39.
Show with Tony Joe.
Everyone wants to know about real estate. Is the market going up or down? Time to buy or sell? How can government programs and policies affect you? Hear from local experts on topics like appraisal, inspection, investment, and others on how to maximize your real estate sale.
Providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe. Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 Morning Show brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. Need a cab? Download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian-owned and run since 1946. On the roads, well, things are looking pretty typical. No major crashes, no major construction delays that I can see other than the usual stuff, like the Trans-Canada Highway by the bus lane widening project, just a little slow going, as it often is. If you see any particular issues, you can text me at 71010. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now. Fairly typical day. No waits at BC Ferries from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And for the weather forecast, we're getting through what is a small chance of showers this morning, but it's even some patches of blue sky out there right now, which is kind of where we're going. Mostly cloudy day, some blue patches. We'll see a high up to 21 degrees. Overnight lows to 13. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, highs of 21. Sunny day on Thursday is what I mean to say. It's also a sunny day on Friday. The rain could come back, though, for Saturday right now, forecasting periods of rain on our Saturday. Right now at the airport, it's 15 degrees. Checking the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto up by 53 now. Started the day down, but starting to pick things back up to 35,621. In New York, the Dow up 546 to 52,757. NASDAQ down 35 to 24,896. Canadian dollar at 71 cents US even. It's managed to go up just a fraction of a cent over the course of the morning, now at that 71 mark.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, I want to do this again, a little segment that Lisa has dubbed Food for Thought.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about some restaurant news.
And why not?
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of good restaurants locally. Let's celebrate them.
Yeah, we did this earlier on the show, and I loved your name for it, so we're doing it again. Food for thought. So here's the gossip on the streets. Okay. One, the Italian Deli on Blanchard Street. Have you heard the news? They have sold. It's been a family-run operation since the 80s, and they posted on their Instagram page just a day or two ago, which is to get everybody talking, that they're selling. But the update is they do have new owners. And here's the quote from their Instagram page. First off, they say, thank you for all the kind words and messages after they made the announcement. And then they go on to say, rest assured, the deli will live on through new owners. We are sure Victoria will welcome them and show them the continued support we were so fortunate to receive. So, again, that's the Italian Deli on Blanchard. It's been this family-run thing for like decades, and I think that's part of the reason people love it is you go in there and it's this, you're interacting with the owners, and it felt very... like a local thing.
Absolutely. And hopefully the new owners will pick up on that. I'm guessing they know what they're getting into, and they realize that customer support and having that, friendly face that you get to know, just like family, is really beneficial for business. So I'm guessing it's going to continue, hopefully without any hitch. Root Cellar did the same thing. The family sold.
They did a thing with the employee ownership model that they had. Yeah.
And everyone was sort of holding their breath, waiting for things to change. I really haven't seen that much change. It's still a good product. It's still good service. No issues. So fingers crossed it'll go the same way. It would be... I think it's rare if it actually goes the other way, because people, when they're buying a business, they usually know what they're getting into, and they want to do that. They want to show you customer service and bring you the same products that you're used to getting.
Now, the other bit of downtown gossip that I've got to share is that a donut chain from Granville Island in Vancouver has announced that they're going to open up a shop in Victoria. First time they've come to the island. This is called Lee's Donuts. Now, I hadn't actually ever been, or I haven't had a Lee's donut, but when we talked about this earlier in the show, a lot of people texted. They know this place and they love it. So it's exciting. If you know about Lee's Donuts, some people are excited to hear it's coming to Broad Street and View. I guess maybe more View Street, kind of, but we're...
Crossing the Bay Center.
Yeah, where View and Broad meet. It's kind of near the McDonald's. There used to be an art gallery in that space or something of that ilk. And
there was an art gallery.
It's been empty for a while. So great to see that space filled, first off. But also for those who know Lee's Donuts. They are coming to that location. And one of the text messages said, there goes my weight loss. So,
but just think, you get the donut, then you walk around downtown.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And it will be negative calories. So, yeah, you can have two if you so choose based on that.
Just
you walk down to the Inner Harbor, you walk back up.
Yeah.
That's a lot of steps you're getting in.
And with enough donuts, you can get all the way to Sydney.
Oh, well, and have donuts there, too.
I love it. Well, anyways, there you go. Those are my restaurant stories. I just thought those were interesting, and it's our little food for thought chat.
Okay.
8:45, time for the headlines. Here's Lisa.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is meeting with the U.S. president today, the first meeting since the two leaders launched the joint war against Iran last winter. It's a chance for Netanyahu to smooth out strains in their relationship. Donald Trump also meeting with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky today. This will be their second sit-down in a month. This as Donald Trump urges Iran to make a deal so he, quote, won't have to hurt the people. Trump has repeatedly retreated from threats to knock down bridges, power plants, and other infrastructure. He told Fox News that Iran knows he'll finish the job if its leaders don't make a deal to end the war. He says millions of people will then struggle to get by. A new poll finds 46% of respondents in Canada encounter scams or frauds weekly or even daily thrown at them. Commissioned by TD, conducted by Leger, the poll found that more than half respondents reported behaviors that could make them more vulnerable, such as using public Wi-Fi to access personal financial accounts and opening email attachments when you don't know the sender. Yet almost 90% say they feel confident in their ability to spot fraud. The bank's VP of Fraud Management says that overconfidence can quickly lead to decisions or overlooked warning signs that scammers will then exploit. And Bell Canada trying to help, launching a tool powered by artificial intelligence to help protect you against fraud involved with callers' ID spoofing. That tactic is used by scammers to impersonate organizations, local businesses, or personal contacts. It adds to Bell's suspicious call detection feature launched last year to monitor incoming calls that you get in real time and alert you to possible spam or fraud using AI analytics. And that's your news to 846.
Another provincial story to pick up on, a little controversy after the expansion of an LNG storage and liquefaction facility at Fortis's Tilbury LNG. This is in Delta. It's being expanded by the province, but it's going to get a chance to skip the Utilities Commission certificate phase of this as they expedite the project. It's got some people talking. So a guy who's covered it closely is regular voice on the show when we talk BC politics, Alec Lazenby, with he's the legislative reporter with the Vancouver Sun. He's going to be joining us with more on this project and the latest out of the news next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Celebrate our coast at Cadboro Bay Festival, Sunday, August 9th from 11 to 3 p.m. Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured. Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Until August 5th, get 600 Scene Plus points when you buy any participating cheeses and meats to build your own summer snacking bundle. That's at Thrifty Foods. On the roads, no crashes or accidents to report at this time. BC Ferry is moving pretty well. The 9 o'clock sailing has no sailing waits. It's next from Swartz Bay to Swassen. The weather clearing up as well. We've got 15 degrees right now, a few blue patches in the clouds. We technically have a small chance of showers hanging over us, but we're hopefully clearing through that shortly. And then we won't necessarily see rain again until Saturday. The next few days looking like a mix of sun and cloud, even sunnier later in the week. Thursday, Friday, mostly sunny until that rain returns on Saturday. Right now, it's about 15 degrees.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
I love talking BC politics with Alec Lazenby from the Vancouver Sun. He's on the line with us right now. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing all right. I think a lot of listeners have caught on that I'm back after a couple of weeks away, and I'm catching up on all of the things that have been going on and all the political drama, including the fact that we have an LNG project, the Tilbury project. Fortis is doing this. And I guess it's in the news because not only are they expanding, but they're kind of getting expedited. We're getting through without having to do the usual BC Utilities Commission steps, I guess. And that's got it in the news. So explain the situation to me. What's going on here?
Yeah, so essentially what happened was on Friday, Minister Adrian Dix, the energy minister, announced that Phase 1B of the expansion of Tilbury would go ahead, which, I mean, it already has environmental assessment approval. It has a bunch of the regulatory approvals, so it's not really a surprise that it's going ahead, but to tout that it's going ahead. But what the province is doing is they're bypassing the Utilities Commission on a specific certificate that essentially looks into whether the project is in the public interest, whether, ratepayers will face undue harms from this project moving forward, like massively increased rates, things like that. And essentially the project is being bypassed past that certificate and saying, this will help speed it up. Now it's still going to be a year late. It was originally supposed to be completed in 2030. Now it looks like it'll be completed in 2031 with construction starting next year. But that is essentially the project, and it will increase the amount of liquefaction and storage that this terminal that Tilbury has in terms of LNG. And that LNG will then be used at the Port of Vancouver for shipping cargo ships, cruise ships, things like that.
Okay. Now, how's this going over? Has it been very controversial, skipping this BC Utilities Commission phase?
I mean, I talked to Richard Mason, who's a former commissioner of the Utilities Commission on Friday, and he said that, this has become pretty par for the course for the government in terms of bypassing the Utilities Commission. And he said it draws into dispute, whether the Utilities Commission is still independent or whether the government can just overrule it whenever it likes. You've got environmental groups that are saying, LNG fracking that produces LNG is massively harmful to the environment. And also you've got lots of projects in the Delta area. You've got Tilbury, you've got Roberts Bank Terminal 2 that will impact sea life, that will impact the local environment. So there's lots of concern around that. And then you've got an MLA and cabinet minister in Kelly Green, the MLA for Richmond Steveston, and the Minister of Emergency Management, essentially saying, I'm not supporting this. I didn't support this before I became an MLA. And cabinet solidarity and all of that. We saw Stephen Guilbeault at the federal level resign because he didn't believe in what the government was doing around climate change. But it seems like, Green had the support of the premier, and she has the support of House Leader Mike Farnworth, and it looks like she won't face any repercussions for this. They knew it was coming, and but it's still an interesting thing to have a government MLA coming out against the government decision on a natural resource project.
And she's not just an MLA; she's a cabinet minister, right? Isn't she emergency management and climate readiness?
Yes, emergency management and climate readiness. So yes, cabinet solidarity. She's not just an MLA. Like backbenchers sometimes come out against things, but cabinet ministers, you kind of go in the room, you voice your concerns during a cabinet meeting, and then you all have to come out and sing from the same song sheet. Or, the idea is if you can't, then you shouldn't be a member of cabinet.
And the BC Conservatives were quick to jump on that. There's a release here that they sent out to media talking about the BC can't count on a divided NDP government, was, I think, the line they used.
Yes, and now the Conservatives are having their own problems, and that's a whole other can of worms with, the missive to Conservative MLAs around, Christy Clark's comments that Carrie Lynn Finley can't win a general election, and Christy Clark called her a kook as well, and sending out a missive to MLAs saying, oh yeah, Christy Clark's an NDP stooge, and that I can't imagine will go over well with members of the party who have been associated with the BC Liberals in the past, or who are more moderate. So, there is some controversy over Kelly Green's comments. There's also some controversy over the Conservatives as well.
Yeah, no, it's interesting times. I feel like both of BC's main political parties that we have right now are, in these rocky phases in their timelines. Now, back to the NDP with that. Do you think there's any more signs of political fallout? Because and you even mentioned it happening with the federal Liberals. We're just in this strange moment where we're trying to push through a lot of quick economic changes in the face of U.S. Trade wars, and we're trying to rush a few things through, which have the traditionally environmental sides of both the NDP or the federal Liberals alarmed. Any more signs of more cracks?
I mean, we've seen polling that has shown that Premier David Eby's approval ratings amongst his base has gone down, amongst past NDP voters. And I imagine that's a lot to do with some of the shifts that the government has made around these natural resource projects. And, I know that the environmental wing of the NDP is not happy with the direction the government is going. That's the same thing at the federal level with some of the federal Liberals. And so, when you're trying to make such a big shift away from maybe some of what you traditionally have done or looked at, then you risk alienating parts of your base. Now, this has always been a problem for the NDP because you've got the so-called brown wing of the party that is more labor resource-based, that side of things. And then you've got the more environmental, social activism side of the party. And those have always been in contention on some issues. And I think that's maybe coming to the head a little bit here.
Alec Lazenby, he's legislative reporter with the Vancouver Sun, and he's done a lot of work on this story. Again, the province bypassing the Utilities Commission on a key certificate for the Tilbury LNG project. This is in Delta, big storage facility, and getting more liquefied LNG onto ships and all that for shipping is the story that we're looking at, and you can find his work in the Vancouver Sun. Alec, great to talk to you as always.
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for listening. Great to have you here. Lisa's got your news still. We've got much more to come on CFAX, but that's it for me. I'm signing off for the day. I'll be back with you tomorrow with another meat draw from Glenwood Meats. No other radio station's doing a meat draw. You don't want to miss it. Just after 8 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be back with that. And until then, have a wonderful day.